Hey everybody, and welcome back to Booming Crypto. Really exciting, getting exciting in crypto for sure. Bitcoin and Ethereum on I guess a crossroad, a decision point at the moment. We're going to check out the charts for that. Can it make it? Yes, it can. I'm sure it can. And of course, Pulsechain, it doesn't care. It's on the move. Pulsechain has been performing extremely well. Very, very exciting. So, we've had Bitcoin holding up pretty well. We've had Ethereum gaining against Bitcoin generally over the last, say, month, and now we've got Pulsechain rallying against Ethereum. I mean, the value chain is pretty awesome. So we're going to check out Pulse and Bitcoin and HEX later on, and watch where those are at the moment. But certainly a lot of hype and excitement coming in the market. A lot of FOMO. HEX, of course, getting the FOMO is definitely real in HEX. People are getting quite excited. So yeah, we're going to check it all out today. We're going to break down the final stock market day for Friday. It was very positive, very green. We're going to look at crypto as well, and of course Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're going to break down some of the treasury updates for the digital asset treasuries as well as the ETFs, and of course zoom in on Pulsechain and some of the action that's happening there. I did a whole what do you call it? Tsunami of X posts yesterday on a whole range of bullish topics. So if you haven't check those out too. We got Blair in the house there. Hi all, good to see you, Blair. Welcome to the chat. Always a pleasure to have one of the regs in the house. Another regular, of course, is Sean O'Malley, up only. Big shout out, Sean. Well, up only indeed. It's looking pretty good, isn't it, Sean? Very exciting indeed at the moment. Yeah, everyone's loving it. One's loving it. All right, Sean says, just got on a plane. Catch you on a replay. Hey, Sean, safe travels. Safe travels. See you on the landing bay. See you at the landing bay with the old luggage. All right, see you later, Sean. Cheers, mate. All right, so let's get into the results for the stock market. We're also going to give a bit of a clarity update as well. So for those that may have missed it, look at some of the biggest updates there. All right, let's jump into the stock market and see how it was pretty good because Wall Street closes at a record high after best week for stocks since April. Isn't that exciting? So we'll take that. That's pretty exciting. Let's get excited today. Yeah. We've got the Dow Jones was up 0.28%, so over 0.25% there, 152 points to 54,036. So look at that, pretty awesome. Let's have a look at the last year on the chart. You can see we're at all-time highs, and if we look at the max chart here, all the way back to a good time, 1970. It's just a record high. Look at that chart. That is awesome on the Dow Jones. Top 30 industrials. Looking at the S&P 500. If we look at that over the last year, we're now up 0.6% today, to 47 points for Friday and 7,757 on track for heading towards 8,000, aren't we? Looking pretty good there. And the last year we're at record highs. We're in history-making territory. Looking back all time, right back to 1970. Look at that chart, OMG, and of course Nasdaq there, 1.3% with all the tech companies, 342 points to 26,690, and look at that. Woohoo! Let's look at the last year on the chart. Look at that, just off the all-time highs. Back there, I guess around the 29th of May. We're getting pretty close, guys. Getting pretty close. So we're really good stuff happening with the indexes there. We're getting really good, reporting seasons for the most part. There was a little bit of scare about AI capital investment. But apart from that, everything's on the up and up, aren't they? We're in a multi-year phase rollout with a lot of this technology. We've got a lot of convergence. We've still got a lot of the big technology themes to play out, like humanoid robots. And so, it's game on. We've got space exploration, satellites, data satellites, you name it. We're in a very, very exciting technological age right now. As we move, truly, I think the transition phase into the space age is upon us. You will not be able to hide anywhere. Think about that. There'll be satellites everywhere. You won't be able to hide anywhere. And if you think you can, well, they're going to you have to be deep down in the cave to probably do that, because they're going to have, heat sensors and all sorts of sensors on the damn thing. And this is a different world to live in when you cannot run anywhere, just about anywhere on the surface for sure. All right, so we got the US dollar. We're down a 30% there at 99.48, so pretty much stuck around this 99.5 mark. And looking at the volatility index, man, look at this. Exciting. Are you excited? Get excited because we are down 1.6%, quarter of a point to 14.9. OMG, that is risk on, baby. That is beautiful. And look at the last year, that is sensational. So great stuff happening there with the markets. Looking at the commodities, obviously still trying to get a deal done with the Strait of Hormuz, apparently. I saw some comment that Trump was personally negotiating. I don't know about that, but certainly Rubio must be at work. But we've got the West Texas at the moment down 0.25%, 21 cents to $77. And if we look at the last year, we've still got about 50% of the premium to go in the July bump, right? The July bump as well. And the Brent oil there down to 30%, 28 cents to $82.21. So yeah, we're not, I'm not really expecting anything, even if a deal is done, to be actually sticky, a good deal. We're dealing with, terrorist jihadi regime. They kill their own people. And of course, they want to usher in the world's apocalyptic end, right? So you're not dealing with very rational actors. Even the moderates are still extremists, and they love to, do the stop and goes. They've also lost their key leaders, and so they're pretty sore about that, as you could imagine. So whatever deal does get done, it's going to be a bit shaky. The other thing, of course, we have a lot of different actors doing different things. One of the most dangerous, we talk about China all the time versus Taiwan, but one of the most dangerous, of course, is Turkey. Turkey is they might be your best friend for a while, and then they'll betray you. They'll knife you in the back. So keep a lookout for Turkey, guys. Turkey is one of the most powerful militaries in the world, and is a NATO country, and is in the juxtaposition between Europe and the Middle East. But keep a lookout for those guys. I do not trust them at all. So that's something we might see in the future. Might be your best friends right now. But in the future could be all hell on earth. And so they're going to be a key player there, I think, for trouble coming up. We've got gold at the moment is up a 2.4%, 101 points to 4,400. Gold looking very good indeed, having a nice little rebounce there. We look at the last year on the chart. We can see that we're bouncing from that 4,100 mark, 4,000, and we're back up 10% basically. So it's looking really, really good. In fact, we're at a crossroad here. Between our lower low that we had back here on the 16th of June. So obviously a bit of work to do there, and also back to this last year's lower, upper, was I guess a high coming into 25, 28, 26, I should say, and we're at 4,100. So pretty pivotal point here. Can it start up another little uptrend? That's the question. Silver at the moment also benefiting from that, up at $63.80, up 3.5%. $2.19, so not bad there as well for silver, and it's also at a similar crossroad, and not quite as probably a bit more free range than gold, but certainly has avoided going all the way down to $53. So we're pretty well done on silver there. Copper, of course, is the star of the show. We're expecting copper to do well in this new industrial age, the fourth industrial revolution, with the intelligence age that's required for data centers, everything else. We're expecting copper to be boom, boom, boom. And as I always say, it's a very expensive process to make copper. So 3 different plants required to refine copper. Very important there. That being said, there is a new nanotech solution coming out with a lot of rare earths that started producing this year, January, and they're basically recycling a lot of old electronics and getting all the rare earths and metals out of that. So, there is some cool stuff happening in that space, particularly around rare earths. So that's kind of where we are right now. And funny enough, Trump had a big conference around investing in lots of minerals and mining. So big investments announcements today with the White House conference, and Trump was presiding over that. So America's going to go from greatness. They are catching up somewhat, because under the Biden era in particular, they were sleeping on resources and rare earths, and China was snapping them all up. China was going into Australia, going into South America, going into Afghanistan, for goodness sake, going to Africa. They were securing up all these resources while Biden was asleep at the wheel. And so, it's good to see Trump onto that right now. Not only are they doing that, but now under Trump's drill, baby drill, they are now the United States producing more oil than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. And this is how successful Trump is being. And it's exciting stuff. And of course, that all flows back through to the American people through the old economy. So very, very exciting stuff happening here. and gas production and gas exports now leading in that as well. So United States going from strength to strength, guys. Meanwhile, in the West, we're stuck with these globalist Marxist fools destroying our countries. It's a very sad thing to be in, and it doesn't seem like there's, even though we've got some rises in popular parties, the existing globalists are trying to cheat and shut them out. So we'll see how we land on that over the next year or two. Very crucial that we get back the power to the people within the Trump era, right? So let's see how that all goes moving forward. All right, so we got copper at the moment looking pretty good. So that's pretty much the copper, the results. Now, you guys know we're going to have the jobs report out. Well, it did come out, and the jobs report came out pretty nice in terms of the, not in terms of jobs, but pretty nice in terms of the Fed, and that's kind of what we're worrying about. Obviously, we want people to have jobs, but in terms of the interest rate rises, we're trying to get those dampened down because they're going to smack. We want them to be a tailwind, not a headwind, against the boom of crypto. The jobs came in pretty weak. Not too bad there. Now I'm just going to go to the jobs report actually rather than read the commentary. Let's go to the jobs report. We're going to go to the economic calendar and have a look at that. Obviously we had the Clarity Acts being deferred. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the other big thing we're looking at is the interest rates, right? So this week we had the jobs report come in. Let's quickly look at the results for that. Let's scroll right down to the bottom there. So non-farm payrolls are negative 23,000, guys. The expectation was positive 85. The last 2 months was also revised down. And so last month was down to 20,000, revised from 57,000 jobs. As you know, the Fed Reserve's got a dual mandate. One is employment, and the other one, of course, is the inflation. And so this is meaning that we've got a less chance now for dampening down the chance of a rate rise. Right, we'll get that in a minute. So this is actually boding well. This is becoming instead of headwind, becoming a tailwind for crypto. Unemployment rate was 4.1% versus 4.2%. So that is down from last month as well. Obviously, a few factors in there in the numerator denominator. But next week is important. So far, employment played into our hands. We got manufacturing expansion playing into our hands. So you can see all the manufacturing data looking really good. Anything over 50 is expansionary. So I think, what is it now? 5 months now. I think it is 5 months. Approximately that we've had expansion. This is perfect. As you guys know, we want lower oil prices, expanding manufacturing. We want, I'm not saying job losses because it's not great, people not being in jobs, but we want no interest rate rises, let's put it that way. And so that's, and if possible, a rate decrease. All these variables are become tailwinds, and so far they're all kind of looking not too bad, look pretty good for the crypto, fueling the fire for our pump ahead. So pretty important there. And of course, next week we've got, CPI, inflation target. We're expecting 3.4% at the moment. If that comes in less than that, that's very positive, equal to or less, particularly less than that. Obviously, we had the rise in oil prices, but will other aspects of the economy be deflationary when we get to the final result for that next Thursday, guys? Very important there, feeding into this interest rate narrative. Now, we've already had expectations drop around the Federal Reserve rate, so let's go have a look at that now as we move forward. We've got 5 weeks and 4 days and 16 hours to go until the next meeting, so still quite a bit of time, the 16th of September. And you can see that the majority now is in favor of a no change. So that flipped already from yesterday with these employment data being job losses. So we're at 56.6% of the market expecting a no change. And that's what I suggested is going to happen. So that's what's happened here. Very positive. We've still got a significant amount expecting a rate rise of 25 basis points to 4% for the federal funds rate, but that's only 43%. So I think the market is going to move to a no change there. Now, we have CPI next week. So, let's see if it's favorable. If, we're doing okay there, then we will see positive things. Now, last time we had I think it was the CPI and the PPI data came in below expectations. So fingers crossed, guys, fingers crossed that elevated oil price in July doesn't impact it as the major factor there, and we get deflationary from other aspects of the CPI. Remember, it's a basket of goods, so fingers crossed there. October, we're expecting 25 basis points, so still October's got a rate rise expected in it, and December has also got that rate rise as well, particularly maybe even 2 rate rises at 27%. But I think it's going to end up going from hawkish, in other words, rate rises, to dovish, and that means no rate rises, maybe even a decrease by the end of the year. We'll keep watching these numbers as they come in, employment and inflation, of course. At the moment, of course, Chairman Wash is pretty much going with the numbers, and I think that would end up on balance being a no change. And if it heads in the right direction, maybe even a reduction later on. Now, I do see that trueflation numbers, which is another measure, said the CPE and CPI, PPI. We got the trueflation number. It's in real time too. It's not lagged like those other indicators. And that's actually been rising to about 2.4%. So we definitely had some elevated prices there, and we'll be tracking that to see if it comes down. So still quite a while to go, almost 5 weeks to go. 6 weeks to go until the next feed meeting, and we got the CPI next week. A very important number coming in. All right, let's jump over to crypto. So that's our pretty bullish overall, wasn't it, for stock market and the economic news supporting a move higher for crypto. Well, we had the Clarity Act disappointment yesterday, and Bitcoin decided to move higher and said, screw it. Michael Saylor said, Bitcoin doesn't need the clarity. It's the United States that needs the Clarity Act. So, and then, of course, Bitcoin moved higher. So power on, power on. Flat Earth Corporation House, they're all in HEX. Yeah, we're going to talk about HEX coming up. Super bumperlicious there. Fomo is real, as I said on the title. So total market cap at the moment of crypto, 2.296 trillion, up 0.5%. So enjoying the green candles, just like stock market. Bitcoin at the moment is up 0.9% on the 24 hours, sitting at $898, just below our 65K. Now, 65K is our really critical target. I'm hoping that we can close the day on 65 today, and then maybe by next week we could break down the 67K. That is really the big resistance. If we break 67, and we'll talk about that in the chart, I think that's hyper bullish. So we'll wait to chart for that. Bitcoin is up 3.1% for the week, so still modest, but pleasingly to the upside. Ethereum at the moment up 0.6% at $1,914, up 2.7% for the week. BNB at number 3 is at $590. It's down 0.3% today, but up 0.6% for the week. XRP at number 6, down almost 1% for the day, down 3.6% for the week at $1.03. Solana at number 7 is up 1.4% today, 1.1% for the week at $73.86. With tokenization changes coming up for Solana, this could be a hyper bullish move, and Solana at the moment, the chart's not looking particularly great. It's kind of at a crossroad as well, but the tokenomic changes mean that Solana is probably going to do something pretty amazing moving forward, so we'll be watching that. Tron at the moment is at number 8. It is down 0.2%, 0.5% for the week at 32.77 cents. Number 10 is Hyperliquid. It is down 3.8% at $54.19. Just been easing off there, not doing too much right now, but still up 2.7% for the week there. Dogecoin at number 11, our honorable mention there, just below 7 cents, down up 0.8% for today, but flat for the week. So really the only standout there, I guess, is Ethereum and Bitcoin. Really the weekly standouts there. And that's why, I said they're kind of looking good, didn't I? I can't remember what I said on the title, but they're at the crossroad decision right now as Bitcoin and Ethereum. And of course, that would lead all markets, all the altcoins up too. So overall, let's have a look at the top 5 and the top 100 overnight. Well, we got Bitway coming into the top 100. So welcome to Bitway. We'll have a quick look at that. But Bitway has come in the top 100 there. Bitway is a decentralized strategy infrastructure designed to bridge on-chain liquidity with institutional-grade global financial markets. Apparently, it facilitates us access to risk-managed yield farming strategies. Both traditional and decentralized finance operates the Bitcoin ledger, a purpose-built layer 1 blockchain that is fully compatible with Bitcoin, enables non-custodial native Bitcoin lending and cross-chain bridging via Frost-based BTC protocol. So there we go. So you might want to check that out and see why that's come in the top 100. Could have a continued move. But at the moment, that is the number 1 mover, and it's coming to the top 100 there as well. Odera Beat in the AI space up 8.4% today. OKB up 6.4%. Baldex up 4.3%, and Casper up 3.2%. So not a lot of action there except for Bitway coming in the top 100 in the last 24 hours. That's over 10%. over the last week. Top 5 Bitway again, 123% for the week. So major power moves coming in the top 100. Cardano there at the moment up 19%, and that's had a good week, isn't it? Hodgkinson will be happy about that. Algorand at number 3 up 12.8%. Athena up 12.8%, and then Baldex up 11.9% for the week. And looks like we've had 8 tokens that are over 10%, including Atom, Lighter, and Zcash there. So privacy and the trading, perpetual trading there, very popular with Lighter there, really doing some impressive things lately. All right, so let's go to top 1,000. We got Pons at the moment up 70%, Tutorial up 53%, and ETH Gas up 45%. They're currently leading the top 1,000 movers at the moment. Trending overall, Punchy Penguins again. Bitway, of course, is just coming in the top 100 there, and Pi Network, because everybody likes a crap network. Everyone likes a crap network. Hey, look, crap networks do well as well, right? Sometimes. So Pi Network there as well. You guys know I don't like it very much. I keep saying it all the time. All right, so let's jump into the expectations quickly around Fed, just to move before we move on too far. The poly market expectations also no change in interest rates. So there we are, 63% of the market there on poly market also backing that up. So you guys can see we've got some good tailwinds in the stead there. So the employment data, as negative as it was for employment, was positive for no change in interest rates, which is positive for crypto. And also we've got obviously a lot of printing going on with the M2 Monday supply. So, that's good for putting into risk on assets. We got the risk on indicator there as full on mode, and we've got green candles everywhere. Everything's looking pretty good, isn't it? So exciting times. We got oil prices come down a little bit there, still 50% off that July premium. We've still got a bit of work to do. Hopefully we get some good geopolitical progress there. And we've obviously got some action happening here with the Bitcoin moving up against Clarity. So positive sentiment there. Now here we are on Coinbase. This is the hourly chart, so you can see the candles here. Just over the last day, we kind of rallied from 6,400 to $64,100, and Bitcoin decided to pump. Look at that. So the news came out about Clarity, and then it pumps. So screw Clarity. We don't need Clarity. The United States needs Clarity, as Michael Saylor said. So the market liked that, right? The market liked that. And overall, we moved up just on the hourly here, moved up 2%, $1,244 on Bitcoin. Obviously had some retrace there since then, come back to 64,500, now back up at 64,885. So that is the hourly there. Let's quickly look at the 4 hourly, the trader's view for Bitcoin. We can see that the trader view there, we're above the 200 4-hour moving average at 64,000. And we're looking pretty good, aren't we, in this 4-hour view here? High lows, high highs, and we're getting up to a crossroad there. But the daily is one I really want to look at, and the daily here is I really was hoping that we were going to close over 65K yesterday, but if we can do it today, I think that's just as good. But we certainly don't want to go down below this, a baby blue line here. That's at 62,200. We want to stay above that. But I think that we're at this crossroads at the next level at 65. So hopefully we can close over 65 today. That would be very bullish indeed. Next target after that would be 67, right? So 67 is the key. We see we got the 67,300 back here on the 15th of June. We want to get over 67 and then head up to 70. And at the moment, we've got the 200 moving average at 70,250. So 70K is the next target. So get over 67. I think I clear at 68, but 67, let's say, then 70K, and then we're off. So if we reach 67, I think we're good to go. And I think this opens up 74,000 all the way up to, let's say, 78. I think that will open up 74 to 78 here, and that matches us up here at the top as well before this third wave, top of this third wave up here, which is 82. But it gets us up to the shoulder here, looking very good indeed. So those are the kind of targets. I think if we can get over 65, I think we're looking good for that move. That doesn't necessarily mean we're out of the bear market, although I think we probably are. I think that 57K is probably the mark there, but there are a lot of people holding on to that we're going to have one more wave down to a hard move to the bottom side, which would be to 50K, 47 or something like that. Some people still out there with diluted numbers about 35. I just think that's insane. But certainly, 47.50 is still not out of the ballpark. That would be the bear case. But then, there's a second counter argument that we had the bottom at the 57 recently, and we're already moved on. And so October's not really the deadline there. So there's a couple of views out there. And then, of course, there's the more bullish view that, we're really on the up and up from here, and just in this final accumulation phase, and that we won't be going too much down. So is this potential move from 65 to 67 to 70 to 74 to 78, those sort of ranges on this big move? Is that just one final move before we get the final down to 50K? That'd be the bear scenario. Or is it already the bottom in at 57, and it's just good times until the upside here for the old Bitcoin? Well, that's why we're following the Bitcoin treasuries really closely too, isn't it? So we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so let's go to the weekly on here. The weekly chart at the moment, we're sitting above the 200 moving weekly average. This is kind of our dynamic 4-year average, and we're sitting above it, which is pretty bullish. And you guys know that any time below this orange line, this 200 weekly moving average, this 4-year moving average, has been a pretty good buying zone as Bitcoin becomes more in demand and arguably more scarce over time. And of course, with the halvings continuing to move forward. And we know that by 2032, we're going to have 330 Bitcoin left to mine, and we'll have 2 halvings by that time. So we'll go from 450 a day, 13,000 a month, down to 112.5 after the second halving. So it's going to get definitely more scarce, and we've got more people coming in to buy it, and it's definitely better than gold. Let's say, I mean, you can just transfer it from wallet to wallet, but let's see, it's going to be good. All right, so this is kind of where we're at right now, looking pretty strong. And if we can get up to, if we do get this move, let's say the move gets as high as 77, 78 up here, that's looking pretty positive. Obviously, if we got as high as, if we end up having some insane move to 82,500, we've broken this downtrend, right, for this bear market, and we're game on, right? And interestingly enough, look at where the 50 weekly moving average is at. That's at 83,400, and that's kind of where we had our top here at 82,500. So it's a pretty close zone there. Very key line there, right? Very key between those two horizontal resistances there, and also the moving average for 50 weeks. Obviously, a key turning point there. But we're not there yet. But hey, look, I'm feeling pretty optimistic. If we hold 65, break 67, maybe even over this weekend, next week, could be game on. And that inflation data next week becomes even more important, right? On Thursday, that CPI data, if it is below expectations, man, it could be game on, right? Game on, absolute game on there, and very exciting. We already see positive flow from the employment data with a no change. That's already kind of bullish for the short term. It helps fuel this as well. If we get any good geopolitics out of the Strait of Hormuz, that's game on too, right? Game on too. So, right, so that's where we are on the old Bitcoin. Let's jump into some of the catalysts, some of the buyings of the buyers. Well, here we are with the treasuries. We've been following this pretty closely because why? You follow the money, right? You follow the money. If we were just focused on one project or this project, we're just isolated, right? We're just not thinking about the big picture, and we don't know what the weather's going to be like, right? We know, like we're on a ship on an ocean, and we have no idea what the weather's going to be like. We need to know what the weather's going to be, and have a good time. Have a good time. All right, so see you in Ibiza. But we got MSTR at the moment, number one. It is 842,000. I'm not going to go too much into these, but we've got a lot of these digital asset treasuries for Bitcoin are very active and ramping up their activity. 21 Capital, Metaplanet. We're going to see some good buying from a lot of these entities. Mara is probably the only question mark there. You can see it's down. Question mark over Mara there, but Bitcoin Standard Treasury, Strive is slowly rising. Maybe the fastest valued company moving forward. Keep a look out for that. They have a pretty good management team and using amplification pretty well also with their preferred stock. SpaceX sitting in there as well, but Coinbase, you can see as some of these others have been buying. CleanSpark, green buys. Block Inc., green buys. American Bitcoin Corporation, green buys. Orange Bitcoin BTC, green buys. Capital B, green buys. The Smarter Web Company, green buys. So, even the smaller DATs are buying now, and this is activity we haven't seen too much of. This is only going to be a positive flywheel stuff, guys. Looking very good. Now, obviously, the big key for Bitcoin has been digital credit. That is basically vampiring the debt markets, offering them better products than existing products by a long time, 3, 4 times, 5 times the yield. And so this has been very exciting. It's still in the early phases of maturity, and we of course has had a challenge over the last couple of months since May. But we're optimistic that now that they've got good capital management in play, and I have to tip my hat off to Strive. I think that they've really added that bringing their money market, bond market experience has been very, very good. And I think strategy, Michael Saylor has taken a few hints from that, and I think that's looking pretty good. And generally happy with what is coming out of the strategy executive team as well. Let's go to the digital credit and have a look at these products. They, of course, were well below $100. As you guys know, what they do call the ATM or at the market. Once these get over $100 on these preferred stocks, they can issue more preferred stocks to the debt money markets and then raise that capital and then go buy Bitcoin with it. They put that Bitcoin in the common stock. For strategy, of course, that's MSTR. Their preferred stock is called Stretch, STRC. They have a number of products, but that's really the kingpin one. And then, of course, we also have Strive, which is sitting at the number 7 digital asset treasury ranking. And they have their common stocks called Assist, so SST, and their preferred stocks called SATA, SATA. So hopefully for the people that are new, that gives you some insight to what's going on there. Now, SATA, of course, is also preferred stock for Strive. They raise the money the same way. If it goes $100, they have the choice to issue more SATA and they raise money from the money market, debt markets, and then go buy Bitcoin with it, right? So the whole idea is that Bitcoin's going to grow at a return or a CARG that's greater than what they're paying out in these yields. So if they're paying out 11.5 to 13%, that Bitcoin's going to grow at least that much, if not more, on average in the years ahead. And of course, typically maybe 30, 35%, let's say. But of course, there are downtimes where Bitcoin does pull back and it all goes negative, right? And that's when the underlying collateral of Bitcoin, which collateralizes these, is under pressure. And that's what we're seeing recently with a bit of volatility there with Bitcoin coming down, second wave, third wave, the third wave particularly being the heavy hitter there. And so this kind of the context. They have obviously put good capital management in place now, which means that at least they've got a couple of years dividend coverage. That's the key thing I think the market's looking at, and then slowly that will get returned back to par. They've also supplied doing market buybacks with Stretch products, which also means that they're giving some sort of last buyer support. And of course, if it gets too cheap, let's say under $85, they'll start buying. And that gives buyer support as well. So you can kind of see that's the capital management, and I think it's working, right? So here we are. Stretch was down at $75, I think it was. Now we're at 95, almost getting back to $100, guys. And then SATA there sitting at $98.50, only $1.50 away from $100 again. And so yeah, looking good. August did look like it was going to be the time that would happen, and I think Michael Saylor even had one of the slides that he had the 8th of August, getting back to $100. He's not quite there yet, but getting pretty close. So this is kind of the backdrop there. This obviously moves from a negative kind of flywheel to a positive flywheel. So whatever momentum we're getting from everything else we've been talking about up to this time is going to be adding to that in a major way. So if Stretch can get back to raising a couple $1 billion every month and buying tens of thousands of Bitcoin, that's massive, right? That's massive. So that's what we're trying to get back to. They might sell a little bit Bitcoin for the dividend coverage, but they're going to buy so many tens of X's, hundreds of X's, maybe more of that. Maybe let's say tens of X's or more every time. So it's pretty good. Let's have a quick look at the Stretch product there. We're going to scroll down and have a look at the price performance. You can see this is obviously the standard stock market. You got a pre-market, you got regular hours, and you got after hours, obviously operating 5 days a week on traditional markets. Regular hours there, you can see the price really ticks off. See, there's not really a lot of volume, relatively speaking, in the pre-market. You do get a price, but you can see the price there ramping. But really, all the action happens, particularly at the end of the market. Sometimes in the middle, and sometimes at the end. You typically see sort of that patterns. And a lot of traders will just trade the first sort of hour of the stock market and just leave it there. And then, of course, you get the trading overnight, and then you get a big rush sometimes at the end, like we did there. And that may be because Bitcoin's going up or something like that. But we peaked out at $95.29 looks from the night, and then we ended up having the after hours closing at $95.18 from the looks of it. So that is kind of cool. We're currently $4.82 below the $100. So it's getting there, guys. It was down at what, $70. Let's have a quick look at that for fun. We like to have fun. Let's have a look at that. So let's go back. I don't know. Let's go back. Not sure when it was, but let's go back to the 16th of July. Let's see where it was there. Well, it was $85, right? So it's $14 down in the middle of July. Let's go back further because we like having fun. Let's go back to June. I don't know, June the 16th as well. We'll try to keep it even. What was the price then? $92. So it wasn't that bad. Let's go back forward. I guess we'll go forward. Let's go to the end of June, 30th, and we'll try and hunt down the stuff. $84. I'm not quite sure, can't remember exactly when the day was that it was at the low. So we'll go back to July. Let's go to the let's go to the 10th of July. I'll see what that was like. So $87. So it did get down, I think, 75 on one day. Not sure what day that was, but $12.25 there. So it's getting up there, folks. Getting up there on the mark. All right. So let's go back to digital credit, and let's have a look at SATA, which is Strive's preferred stock. So Strive put out an announcement, a few weeks back that they may or may not raise more capital at $100. So we'll see. Question mark there. On strategies one, he's just going to continue on because he's obviously going to head up to 1 million Bitcoin, right? So he's not going to slow down. We're at $98. So there we're just under $2 below $100 there on the price. And you can kind of see the chart there, pretty crazy. In fact, have we got the right date on here? Let me have a quick look. 7th on that one. Yeah, that's right. So let's have a look here. So we had a nice late rally in there. Look at that, late rally there, up to $99.36. OMG, is that crazy? So we had a really good end of the market there. Almost got back to $100 at the end of the regular hours, and was only 64 cents below. But then had some crazy. Look at this crazy stuff. Big volume candle came in after hours and ended up at $98.01 there. But anyway, the regular hours was very aggressive. Can't be too far away. Can't be too far away next week. Keep a lookout, guys. $100 is a back for means this is more positive buying. Billions of dollars, tens of thousands of Bitcoin potentially on the cards, maybe as early as mid next week, let's say. Well, we'll see. But we've got that inflation data coming out on Thursday. Is that going to be a tailwind? Is that going to usher in the golden age of positive cycles? This will help fuel us up to those big numbers I was talking about, 67, 70, 74 to 78, somewhere in that ballpark for this next big move. Obviously getting over 65 today, very important, or at least by this weekend. I think it's very crucial that we get a close over 65 and then hold it above there. That's probably the key part there. So keep a lookout, guys, over the next 2 days. It's going to be pretty interesting. But more positive flywheel stuff happening there. Everything's turning into a tailwind at the moment. Apart from clarity, it's kind of good. And apparently Bitcoin didn't care. So here's the ETFs at the moment. We're still getting positive buying last 5 days, all the current week, all positive buying for Bitcoin. 2,680 on Monday, 3,330 on Tuesday, 3,800 on Wednesday, 2,130 on Thursday, and then yesterday a little bit modest for Friday, but 233 positive there. Very, very cool. And one of the key players in that has been IBIT, right? So IBIT there being a kingpin there for the ETFs. Very awesome. If we turn that to US dollars, you can see 170 million on Monday, 211 million on Tuesday, $250 million on Wednesday, 137 million on Thursday, and 15 million on Friday there. So pretty crazy. And of course, we had clarity coming through on Friday, so maybe the ETFs got a little bit shy there, but positive buying. Very, very cool. Since the ETFs launched on the 11th of January 2024, $52 billion has been vested at the moment. And of course, that's 460 million there as well. Let me just go to the Bitcoin chart there. That is equivalent to 653,000 Bitcoin from the ETFs. So not bad. All right. So that is Bitcoin. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's keep going. We're on a roll right now. I think we're on a roll. Is everyone on a roll? Oh, we're having a good time. Anyway, so we're going to the Bitcoin power law. So here we are tracking this long-term model. Seems to be holding up pretty well. Has been tested in recent times for the first time below the red bar, the support line. But we're going to zoom in on the road to glory for Bitcoin. And we are just humming along the resistance line, the support line there. The support line, I should say. And let's have a look at the actual date right now. So we're going to go back down to, what are we about, the 8th now? So we've got the support line at 62K. You guys know I said 200 is key. That also happens to coordinate not only with the horizontal pricing we've had recently, but also with the power law there at 62,100. Pretty key line for us to hold. We've also got the green line, which is the linear regression. So the average there, 175,000 right now, and the resistance line all the way up at 610K. So we're looking for a move high here. And so even by the end of the year, you're looking at approximately, let's see here, approximately 199,379 for the green line. And so if we get a rally before the end of the year, that's potentially we could get to that. At the top of the line is 683,000. Over the next 12 months, let's go to, what are we at now? August. Let's go to a year from now. That would get us about the 8th of August, wouldn't it? 27. And we've got the midline at 241K. Tom Lee has 250 for the middle of next year. So I think he's right in the ballpark there, even though he's a perma-bill. Power Law supports that sort of price target there, with the support line being 85,700 next year. So only way is up, baby, is it the song? And I think that's what Sean said as well, up only, with the top of the line there, 806K. Now, the earliest the Power Law gets to 1 million on the purple line, so if we get a banana rally, right, a big bull market, then we start heading towards this purple line, is the 1st of June, is $1 million there. So 1st of June is probably the earliest we might make it there based on the Power Law. And then a lot of people, of course, calling $1 million Bitcoin by 29, 30, 31, 32. But the Power Law there indicating 1st of June as the earliest. We need a banana part of the curve for that. So let's just do a quick refresh to see what that looks like. And we've had them before, right? So these Power Law moves up here. We had the banana all the way up to the purple line, there. So we've had it, time and time again. The next one is coming up. I'm sure of it. The next move is that power banana part, and it's going to be truly glorious. So we have all these ETFs, and we have these debt market products working, raising billions of dollars. We have all these corporates and sovereign states and institutions, etc., coming in. We've got the scarcity of Bitcoin as well on the supply side. The Bitcoin halvings, it's glorious, baby. It's glorious. And the true, what does that call it? The basement trade, store of value, more of a debasement trade, but store of value as well. It's going to be glorious to the upside here. So bring it on. All right. That is pretty cool. Now you got to remember, a lot of people are going to miss out on this, right? So a lot of people are going to miss out. The vast majority of people, will not even be holding Bitcoin. Will just miss out. They'll see it on the charts and go, I wish I shoulda, coulda, woulda. They're going to be having a lot of challenges in the employment market. There's a lot of bad challenges happening in the employment market. Let's just be frank with that. We've got obviously technology doing in a transformational phase, getting rid of a lot of employment jobs, a lot of the easy stuff. But also we're having these, what I call immigration invasions as well. So, we've got a lot of young people can't even find the same jobs we could find 20, 30 years ago, because now they're competing with, all these other people coming into the country, right? So it's tough out there. It's tough out there. It's only going to get tougher, guys. We've got a lot of Marxist governments spending all the money, putting the countries into debt, and all the rest of you guys know. It's just terrible, one thing after another. So it's tough, and that's why having your crypto bags is going to be a lifesaver as well as a life changer, right? So think about that: a lifesaver and a life changer. Should we put that on the old quotes? But that is very, very important there. If you've got any family that you care about, get them in now. Get them in. They just can DCA for the win if they want. But I think it's in this time to go for there as well. If you've got relatives you don't like that so much, forget about it. What do we say? Forget about it. All right, so let's go. This is kind of where we are right now on the Power Law. Let's get into the Clarity Act. The Clarity Act, Senator Cynthia Lummis being a key leader in the Clarity Act progressing. Obviously not able to get over the line quite yet, but we're looking forward to it. And at the moment, she's got a statement that she put out after the delay. So the Clarity Act has been delayed by Senator Thune until mid-September when they come back from recess. Now, it's the problem with that, of course, is the politics. And we've got the midterms in November, and they come back and they start campaigning, right, in September and October. So it's going to be a tricky one, guys. I mean, these guys, there's been a lot of stuff happening, but it's tricky. And so we've got to keep our expectations low, I guess. But she put a statement out, says, "You all know me and how long and hard I've fought for this bill. You can imagine how frustrated I am. There will be a time and I can say more. But for now, let me say this: we've come too far to quit now. I will not give up because I believe to my core this industry deserves to thrive with clear rules of road of the road on your soil. That consumers deserve to be protected from scams and have the confidence to participate in our digital economy, and the law enforcement deserves the tools they need to hold back actors accountable. The Clarity Act is the only way we can achieve these goals. The status quo fails on every level, and I will not stop fighting until we fix this broken system. I will continue working with my colleagues to get this done. This fight is far from over. And it's the old adage, as long as everyone hasn't left the room, then there's still a chance, right? So that's where we're heading at the moment for mid-September. We'll see if Senator Thune can get that over the line. We're at the moment trying to see whether he can get the SAVE Act over the line, which is so fundamental. The Democrats are fighting against all this because the SAVE Act will mean that people have to provide ID. And of course, Democrats have been winning in states where there's no ID, right? Because they're cheats. That's pretty much it. And so hopefully we'll get that over the line, and also the Clarity Act as well. They keep complaining about Trump, and they were anti-Trump. They want to stop him, for example. But actually, the whole law is designed to give protections and consumer protection. So it's all self-fulfilling. So we'll get there in the end, hopefully. We're still waiting for the White House to get back on the second version from the Democrats. See, this is the old game, right? They put one up, said, "Oh yeah, we get that," and we were happy. White House said, "Okay," and limited, the president and officials and judiciary from crypto. And of course, then the Democrats said, no, we're going to push down the road and make it even harder. And then they want to try and sneak in state AGs to be able to sue. That would be a disaster because, as I've said several times, the Democrats always use particular states to go and persecute their political enemies. And that can be anybody from that they want to take out, and they've been so cruel to so many people. So we don't want to give them any more powers like that. That'd be an absolute disaster. So that's kind of where we are right now with Senator Loomis. So really good post, even though it's been deferred to mid-September. The other bit, of course, is Eleanor Terrett. She's been on the ball with a lot of the Clarity Act stuff as a journalist and host of Crypto America. She says new Leader Thune's office is telling, so obviously the leader of the Senate there, is telling crypto industry leaders today that the majority leader still intends to file cloture on the motion to proceed to the Clarity Act before lawmakers leave for August recess per multiple sources. Now, we'll see whether that actually happens or not, because obviously coming in Friday. But the move would tee up a vote on the Clarity Act in September, and is being viewed as a positive signal that GOP leadership intends to make the bill a priority when the Senate returns. Now, I'm not sure if anything's happened with that particularly. We'll try and get an update on that tomorrow. But there's work to be done between now and then. Negotiations need to find the votes that currently aren't there, starting with finding a path forward to resolve the disagreements over yield, which has re-emerged as a front and center issue following the Wall Street Journal op-eds, and as banks have made significant inroads in persuading Republican members that language needs to be changed. Now, particularly small banks, right, which is kind of silly because a lot of small bank customers won't even use crypto in the future. But hey, let's see how it goes. And of course, securing a palatable bipartisan ethics committee. Still no word from the White House sources say that there's clearly less urgency to respond now than there was earlier week there. So that is kind of the play. Now, we've got a little comment here from Benjamin. I'm going to read this out because it probably is what we're all thinking, right? He says, "Trust me, I am a US Senator. Okay, we didn't file for closure because of a few last-minute issues, but I promise it will be the first thing we do when we come back. September. Oh, okay. A few issues have come up that need our immediate attention. Government shutdown, war, save America, etc. But once we deal with these issues, it's our top priority. I promise. Last day. Okay. Once we lose the midterms and I'm no longer majority leader, I promise it will be the top priority, as I will not have much else to do. So it got a bit of a feeling about how people feel about these politicians, but particularly, it's certainly challenging there. But look, Democrats don't want America to win. They just want to do managed decline. And when I say managed decline, I mean make it hell on earth. Look, they just opened the borders, and there was mass murders, mass rapes, mass everything else. The Democrats couldn't give a stuff, right? They couldn't give a stuff. In fact, they were ushering it in. They loved it. They loved it. They're just such an evil bunch of people, and they only want to put in a nightmare society as they get all rich. They clip the ticket on the way down, and then they say, "See you later." See you later. Not surprised with any of that. Let's jump into the ETFs for Ethereum. We're going to get into that. Before we do, let me just pull up the charts here. We're going to go to pick up Ethereum, then see how that's done. Then we're going to jump into Pulsechain, which has obviously been rallying really nicely, and HEX there leading the way. Let's get into Ethereum here. Let me pull up the chart for Coinbase. Are you guys having a good time? I'm having a good time. I feel pretty good where we're at right now. We're certainly at a crossroads here for Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I think they are looking pretty good. Let's see if we can make it this weekend over those key marks. Nevertheless, it's exciting times. We're getting a lot of things are becoming tailwinds. This is exactly what we want to see. And if we can just get them all just keep firming up, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, I think I've got what I wanted here. So let's jump into the charts again. So this is the Ethereum chart on the hourly. You can see how we've been tracking up here. We had a similar like Bitcoin. We had a nice little rally from 1,892 all the way up to $1,942. Not bad, not bad. So up we went, and that was a 2.5% move, $48. We're still up a fair amount on the hourly chart, up $20, 1%, not too bad. And of course, over that average there. Let's go to the 4 hourly, the trader's view, and you can see we're well above the 50 moving average. That's currently at 1880, and here we are looking pretty good here. Let's go to the daily here on ETH quickly. This is on Coinbase, of course. We're above the 50 at the moment, the 50 daily moving average. That's at let's just round at 1800, and then we've got the 200 moving average at 2055. You guys know the key marks for us moving forward: 2000 and also 2500. That's pretty much it. So 2000 and 2500. Some people have a mark of 2100 for the next move. So if we get to over 2000, we get up to 2100. But at the moment, we're at 1920. Our recent test of that, of course, we got to was on the 27th of July, and we got up to $1,979. So not too close, not too far. But as you guys know, when we had this big last waterfall down here, we were at 2,000. So horizontal, and then we got this 2,055 on the 200. You can kind of see that 2,000 mark there. And if we get over there, that's a bit of a sign of strength that we get us to 2,100. So 2,000 to 2,100 key marks there. And then, of course, as you guys know, I think, obviously Bitcoin's kind of key, getting over that 65K, but Ethereum is actually looking really good. Let's go to the weekly chart here on the Ethereum, and you can see the moving average here for the 200 moving weekly average is at 2484. So let's just say 2,500. So you can kind of see 2,000 and 2,500 are the key marks to make here. But Ethereum is looking pretty good, Ethereum is looking pretty good. We also had a horizontal, we always had resistance up at this level as well on the horizontal chart with the last candles back here in April. So a key mark there, and you can see the 50 weekly moving average moving down pretty aggressively right now. See that moving down, and that's now at 2,700. So it's going to make it even easier for us to pump. Now let's go back to last year when we obviously had the crypto coming down. We had Trump reorganizing the World Trade Order, and then of course we had the relief around tariffs. We had the Genius Act come in for stablecoins, then the digital asset treasuries come in, and of course we had a lot of short coverage as well. And within 133 days, Ethereum there did a 3.5x rally. So even though if you were coming down this move here, you'd have been screaming, "Oh, damn it," which is fair enough, right? Prices going down, your portfolio goes down. But then how quickly did it revert on good catalysts? And up we went pretty quickly in 133 days. So it doesn't take long, right? So what's that, 30, 60, 90, 134 months? So up and up and up. And this is what we could be seeing pretty soon here as well. So there's two scenarios, of course. The bear market finishes in October, or the question is that we've already had the bottom. That was probably back here in May, June, and particularly with Bitcoin at 57, and that it's time for us to just slowly track up here, however that looks like. So we're still feeling pretty bullish, and we're getting a lot of these headwinds becoming tailwinds, helping fuel that too. And so we might get another big move moving here. What are the catalysts? Well, obviously stablecoin continue, a bit more digital asset treasury, not quite as robust as Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin's got all those treasuries fairly active. We've only really got two, right? We've got Bitmine and SharpLink for Ethereum, but they are showing strong leadership there as well. And so we're feeling pretty good about that. We've obviously had the 3 nodes set up to support Ethereum on the attack. with commercialization, with Ethereum Labs, Ethereum Institutional, and Ethereum Systems supporting the Ethereum Foundation. And so we've got a lot of bases covered. Now, there is indications that we're going to get more nodes set up as well. I think maybe we might even get a marketing promotion one. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I think we've Tom Lee's hinted that there could be 1 or 2 more nodes coming. So we might end up with half a dozen is possibly there, with some very smart people doing, very passionate about blockchain and Ethereum succeeding there. So pretty cool. So we're at $1,912. Ethereum there looking pretty good there on the chart there. So we could get a big re-rate very suddenly here, and we're getting some pretty similar squeezes here with the 50 and the 200, and again here right now. So keep a lookout, guys. Keep a lookout. It's looking pretty good. I don't know why this has gone white. How'd that go white there? Let me just go back in here. Let's see what we got there. I don't know. How'd that go white? I don't know. We'll go light, and then we'll go white. We'll go dark mode. Yeah, dark mode there. All right, that's kind of cool. All right, so we're back. Did we get some more comments in the chat? We did. We've got Christos in the house there. Good morning, Superman. I'm having a good time. I'm sure it's so good, isn't it? Really is great. Still cheap prices too, particularly on Pulsechain, and I think there's some other ones out there cheap too. So if you guys haven't gotten the Strategy Club, I highly suggest you join. It's only just over $1 a day, so it's a pretty good value. And so if you want to join up the Strategy Club, the link's on YouTube. Join up today. I pass in tons of intel constantly every day there with all the stuff that I think is really important. And also, if you are on X, just scroll to the top there. There's a link to the Whoop store, and it's one of the biggest sites where people often join up to Discord clubs. Join up today into our private Discord, and it also includes all the rest of the Discord benefits as well. We look forward to seeing you in Strategy Club. It is pretty fun. All right, so any news linked to the pump today, says Tom Boss there. Well, probably Michael Saylor there just saying that clarity doesn't, Bitcoin doesn't need clarity, but the United States needs clarity. It's probably the case there. And the market moved up. Probably also certainty, right? That it's done and dusted, and it's moving to mid-September, and so time for the market just to do its thing, and that's probably the case. All right, so we're at 1911 right now. We're also seeing a lot of positive buying from ETFs, digital asset treasuries, and whale buying as well, right? So they're already indicating maybe the bottom's already in at that 57 if you're in the more of the sideways or bull case there. All right, so this is exciting, guys. Keep a lookout for this chart, but it's certainly looking like a nice setup. And it looks pretty similar, doesn't it? So keep a lookout for that. Now, if we zoom out further afield to 5 years, or so, then you're going all the way back here. We've been under 5K, right? So capped underneath there, it's the orange line. So I think there's pretty easy money even to be made back to the 5K line. Just got to be patient, right? Just got to be patient. But I think this time we're going to break it. We're going to break it, and once we break it, all hell breaks loose, right? It's pretty cool. Now, we've got all these Ethereum nodes on the offensive. So Ethereum now is well organized and got some special forces teams. And we've got stable coins boom. We've got tokenization boom. We've got AI boom. And it's all on the takeoff phase. In other words, that's the second phase. We've got seed phase, then the takeoff phase, and then we've got the first level of maturity phase, which is probably next year, June next year. So we could go from $35 to $40 billion tokenization into $1 trillion plus by next year, right? So bring it on, because we are targeting hundreds of $1 trillion markets. So think about that. And that's just with existing products. We could end up having tokenization for assets that aren't even monetized, don't even have liquidity, but people think they should be. And we could have that coming into crypto too. So very exciting stuff coming in the future there. Obviously, we talked about stablecoins, tokenization. We talked about AI applications and trading bots, etc. But actually, we've also got a lot of other things happening. We're opening up markets, so we're bringing TradeFi over to blockchain. That is an upgrade, generally speaking. And also, we are getting all the big players from TradeFi coming over to Ethereum, and that's going to be a multi-year process. But we're getting some of the key players that are doing all the pipe work for TradeFi over to the blockchain this year. So we're not waiting for it, and that is DTCC coming in. Massive 114 trillion assets under management. They are basically like the waterworks company for TradeFi. They're coming in to take the same position in on a blockchain. It's at least a pivotal one, and they will be doing the waterworks for a lot of blockchain stuff, particularly around tokenization. They're opening up business full on in October, and so we're going to see their client list all want to tokenize, and that's a boom time, right? It's like a gold rush, guys. And then you see January, February, March into next year, all these products being launched from all their clients. And look, they did something. I think 25. They did something like 4.6 quadrillion. We're not talking about trillions, quadrillion dollars of settlements and trademarks. Think about that. Because you can see how big. Even if we get a fraction of that, guys, can you see how big this is? So now let's go back to Bitcoin. We've got the debt markets being targeted. If we get back into raising money from the debt markets this month, and then we add in this tokenization boom from October with DTCC coming in, they can't just use one chain. So obviously Ethereum's winning for the most part, along with Solana and a few others, Canton. But actually, they said they're going to have to use heaps of chains because they need that much capacity. That's how much money they're expecting to flow through. They need so many chains to use. So a lot of the top chains going to get a lot of business from that. So it is game on. So very excited there. All right, so that's kind of the play. But in addition to that, we're getting all the users, right? So we're getting Robinhood, Coinbase, and now we're going to get all these investment banks and all their wealth clients and their tens of thousands of advisors all working to bring adoption to crypto. It's game on now. And then we're going to potentially get sovereign states, and then we're going to get all the major banks. If we get Clarity Act through, that helps a lot of major banks and corporates. And so it's just one thing after another, and it's already on takeoff phase. So if you're wondering why the markets are looking so good, I think that's the reason. And we're moving into different territory. We also got mega themes that finance is coming over. So if you think about all the financial applications coming over, and then of course mass adoption is going to be very sneaky, guys, and that is offering it on social platforms. Mr. Beast applications, things like that are coming into play, and that's going to be sneaky mass adoption. It doesn't have to have some crypto guy out there going, please come and learn how to use a wallet. Please come and use how to DeFi. A lot of people don't even have the attention span to do that, right? They're on the flicking through their TikTok, and their brain's getting dumber and dumber as they do it, and they need something simple, right? It's a bit like those silly space movies. Have you seen it, where they're all retired and they're all sitting on these things, but they can no longer walk anymore because they've been sitting around there getting so dumberized, as it were, in their luxury spaceship, that kind of thing. So it's going to be made really simple on apps, and people are going to be able to pick up Ethereum, Bitcoin, and not even think about it. And their little apps, right? That's great. It's great. And then so you're going to have hundreds of millions of people coming in, all right? This is the way it's going to be playing out. It's pretty cool. All right, so that is looking bullish, and you guys are all here early. Can you look at that chart? It's a gift in the hand right now. Once again, not financial advice. Do your own due diligence, but if you're loving it, let's get going. All right, so that's the Ethereum price right now, looking pretty good, and we're looking at take out that 2,000 hopefully in a week or two. Let's see how it goes. Could be next week. We'll see. The inflation number's certainly going to be a key one coming up. Now, looking at the ETFs, let's go look at the Ethereum ETFs at the moment. And we're going to get the weekly updates, by the way, for the digital asset treasuries for both Bitcoin and Ethereum on Monday. That's going to be really exciting to see that. So far, it's been going really good. Let's see how that gets on. So at the moment, we've had pretty good days. Not every day. Monday was a weekday for Ethereum, down 6,300. But the last 4 days have all been hyper positive for Ethereum there with the net inflow. So we had 28,500 on Tuesday. We had 32,000 on Wednesday, 48,000 on Thursday there, and 6,000 yesterday. Obviously, a bit of a pullback there with the Clarity Act. So that is a pretty major week. We've also seen a lot of whales buying. I think things are just getting ready to rumble, guys. Very, very exciting stuff. All right, so that's kind of cool. Let's jump into, we're going to get into Pulsechain now. How are we doing? An hour and 3 minutes. I spent talking about stock market, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, and we only just got to Pulsechain. What the heck, man? You guys know it's getting exciting, isn't it? Getting exciting. But look, we like to stay informed. We like to keep the big picture in mind. Now, there's some stuff I haven't even covered, right? Because I'm covering it in Strategy Club. It's just part of that setup. But that's going to be coming out too today in Strategy Club. So look forward to that if you're in there already. All right, so let's go into that's around projects. So like, what are the better projects and stuff like that? There's a lot of opportunities right now in the market. So let's have a quick look at the Pulsechain. Let me just pull that up quickly. We're going to go to Pulsechain stats, and then we're going to bring up DEX Screener. We're also going to have a look at DEX Screener on the old Pulsechain. I'll bring that up as well. We will have a look at HEX chart too today. If you're loving the content, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. We're streaming on 3 YouTube channels: The Crypto Night Show, Superman Crypto, and Pulsechain X. If you're also on X Live, then hit the follow button there as well. I think we just went over 1,700s, which is great. We're slowly climbing back. I had to restart my whole channel, as you guys know. and onwards and upwards from there. It's certainly exciting times. Also, the Crypto Night Show is official publication is the Monster Thread. As the hottest Pulsechain weekly news comes out every single week, 65 weeks in a row now. It has been a great supporter for project teams to get project awareness as well. We've got a lot of blue chip projects in that in the Monster Thread as well. It is a professional publication, but has really been a very balanced publication, getting the best for everybody, which is very exciting. So if you guys have enjoyed the Monster Thread, leave a comment in the chat there as well. Big shout out to MVS Crypto, of course, the editor-in-chief of the Monster Thread, also the promotional lead for the Crypto Night Show. If you do want to get access to that, hit him up as well in the first instance, or myself as well. You can hit us up on Telegram, on X, on Discord. You guys know what to do. And so exciting times ahead. 65 weeks, man, crazy. The publication is doing a great job. All right, let's bring in the Pulse chart here. Pulse chart has been on a tear. We've been getting our dreams come true, and you can't ask much better than that. So let's get into the chart for there as well. Let me just up and up this. So Pulsechain, we'll get there. Let's go. Without further ado, let me get into the charts here. And bam. All right. All right, so Pulsechain here is a full system state fork of Ethereum on the 10th of May 2023. So if you had coins on Ethereum, they would have got them copied over to Pulsechain. And then, of course, basically 3 days later on the 30th of May 2023, Pulsechain launched, right? So it has been price discovery ever since. Pulsechain has been hit by a number of things, particularly the SEC suing some of the major projects, Pulsechain itself, along with HEX, all getting sued by the SEC, as well as Richard Hart, the founder of Pulsechain, and of course HEX as well. HEX being one of the top 5 coins of the 2021 bull market. And he defeated him. Richard hired a dream team of lawyers and defeated the SEC. And here we are. We are here now 1,183 days later, and the chart is starting to move off the bottom. So very exciting stuff. So at the moment, we're up 8%. The price of Pulse at the moment is at 809644. Sorry, 509644. So if we just lose the zeros, we're at 9600. We're getting close to losing a zero. Very, very cool. In fact, you can see on here with the rounding, we're already done it, but it's not quite true. Come on, Pulsechain stats, get your rounding properly. I use this chart every day now. I've moved from GoPulse, of course, moving this. Yeah, but another decimal place. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. All right, so we got HEX at the moment is sitting at 2,900 of a penny, looking real strong, up 18.63%. We've got to give that a clap, don't we? I've got to give that a clap. Yeah, on the move. HEX on the move, guys, looking real good. All right, so let's jump over to ProveX. ProveX at the moment is at 4.053. It's up 6%. PulseX is at 5.08 something, up 13%. And Ink Token there up 12% as well. Actually, we might look at PulseX today as well. I have not really been focusing on that. I'm hyper bullish about PulseX, so I should probably be doing more about that. Ink Token up 12% at 48 cents. All right, so those are the top 5 Richard cores. We probably have 7 or 8 peers that are typically doing most of the volume. Traditionally, they've been over 100K. They're probably much higher than that now. We'll probably look at that today as well. But essentially, let's say we've got 8 peers that typically are driving most of the volume on Pulsechain. And of course, Richard cores 5 of those 8 as well. So kind of cool. The other ones were being PDI, Peacock, and occasionally, what's the other one? Some of the wrapped ETH, I think it is, that comes in the chain. All right, so let's jump over to the gas prices. Let's have a look here. So we got the beats at the moment just under 500,000, so a little bit higher than normal. 73 pulse per Pulsex swap. We're sitting at 700th of a penny for Pulsex right now, so still pretty cheap, but a bit more elevated is good to see, right? Because we want to see fees get a little bit more expensive as we go, so that the chain itself, it's indicating it's more valuable, right? So that's what we want to see, and it's getting more valuable by the day. Validators, so we've got that. So we're up to 46,873. This is also another health check, right? This is why we look at these global stats. So we tumbled all the way down from 50,000. I think we got down to 42 or something, 43. And now we're climbing back. We're now at 46,873. So real positive stuff happening here, liking what I'm seeing. As Pulse goes up in price, more valuable. And so hopefully people come in and stake more, right? So we're sitting at 1.5 trillion Pulses actually staked. If we round that, the value of that's 14.38 million right now, with Pulse going up in price. Nice to see. Current APR 9%. Daily fees is 373 million Pulse. and then the validated cost at the moment, which is 32 million Pulse to solo validate, is $307 at the moment. But there are other options to validate through public staking platforms like Vouch and Validate X from PlusX. There are other opportunities there just to do basic validating yields. Well, they're not that basic, are they? Because they've kind of zooped them up a little bit there, supercharged them a little bit. Let's go to the bridge stats. This is our other global indicator we've been watching. This is fresh capital coming in, right? Fresh capital. Follow the money. They always follow the money, right? Volumes and money flows. That's what we were trying to follow. Well, I'm glad to say the bridge is going up in value. Obviously, HEX is going up in value, so it's lifting this as well. But look at that, 64 million. Pretty cool. We bottomed out at 47.42. And so what does that mean? 47. So I guess we're up 3, 14, 17. Let's say 16.6 is it? I think it's the math's right. 16.6 million up off the bottom. Pretty fast too. Look at that stuff. So we're up 5% over the last day, 17% over the last week, and 32% over the last 30 days. We'll take that. That's pretty cool. Now, do I have anything? Do I have anything better to animate here? I don't know. Let's see. What do I got here? Animate there. Am I hiding something? I don't know. What am I hiding? I don't know. I thought I had a special fireworks here, but I don't seem to have them up at the moment. All right, so that's pretty cool. If I had fireworks, we'd play it. Guess what today, guys? Woohoo! Daily inflow, $925,000, almost $1 million. That's pretty cool. And of course, we're coming off low bases, so these are exciting numbers. Outflow, 466K. Net flow, $458,000 today, guys. Is that the best I've seen, or at least one of the 2 or 3 best days we've seen? I think I saw another good day like that. So pretty awesome there. I think we're getting the magical touch on the Pulsechain. Now, what is most of that? So USDC, almost 400K, almost 260K of ETH at the moment, 110K of DAI, looking pretty good there. We have got quite a bit of a COSA coming in, interesting enough, 60K. We've got, on the outside, we've got 187K of ETH going out. We've got 156K of USDC going out, and 64K of DAI, and a bit of USD Tether as well. So interesting there, but what a big day in the office. That's great. That's great, because generally most of the stuff coming over is going to be active, right? Going to be actively used. So that's kind of cool. I really like that. All right, so that's the majors there. Let's jump over to the, we're going to bring Pulse that back actually, because I think we're heading for a 2-hour stream. What do you guys reckon? I think we're going, guys. How can we slow down right now? This is crazy. Well, I'm glad to report also we're up at $6.9 million, so we're back up in our $6+ million mark. Thank you very much. Of course, on the bottom of the bear, we've been sitting around 2.5 to 3.5 mil, with a couple of days down at $1 mil, which was pretty scary recently. But 6.9 mil, looking real good again. We're almost at 5 million transactions, pretty awesome. And of course, you guys know we're probably at 7 mil, because this doesn't take into account the balance of folks, probably also doing a bit better. We might go and look at that today to see whether the volume's lifted up from that as well. And yeah, we're going to check out a few things. Are you guys getting excited? Damn it, man. Damn, it's exciting. I'm getting excited. I'm excited about this. This is so good. All right, so we're at 6.9 million. Let's get into it. We've got the Pulsechain at the moment, our V2 DEX, our biggest DEX, founded by Richard Hart, 5.2 million at the moment of that 6.9. So pretty exciting. So we're looking for 1.7. 9mm at the moment, almost $1 million. That's pretty good. Now, you've got to remember, we're coming off a low base, but as we go up the ranks in this bull market trend, we continue this on, these values will just get bigger and bigger, right? Millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions potentially further down the track. So just get excited at each level. Get excited about each level, because hey, this is the journey is good, right? You want to enjoy the journey, just like the end goal, right? The end goal. So pretty cool. All right, so almost $1 million, 9mm. Well, let's check out the price. That's whether that's really pumping. Liberty Swap. So 9mm is a V3. Liberty Swap's a V3 too. It's sitting at 345K, so that's picked up a lot from yesterday. I like to see this get back to $500,000, but so far, at least it's jumped from yesterday. I think it was, 250 or something? I can't remember the exact number, but that's definitely looks like up about 100K. And our V4 switch X here from Brandon, 272K, pretty solid volumes there. And once again, I'd like to see this track up as well in time also. So those are the top 4, right? So switch X scores bringing us that cutting edge innovation around automated liquidity management tools and stuff like that. We are getting a couple of small players coming into space as well. I'm going to talk about that in a post coming up. Man, there's so much to talk about. We're going to do it all. Screw it. We're doing it all. Damn it. All right, so let's go to Uniswap. We're going to Uniswap here. We're at 80K on Uniswap. What? What is this? Almost doing nothing. Remember 5K going through Uniswap. Now we're up to 80. We'll take that. We'll take that. And 9-inch here, even doing some decent stuff, 26. And of course, our new DEX exchange here from Vinvestor, the OG WebChef printer. And of course, look at this. What 7.6K? But watch out for this one. This might just slowly sleep up, just creep up on us. But welcome to Finvestor to the mark there. And hey, look, we've got lots more DEXs to talk about, and DEX aggregators in the marks there as well. We've also got a lot of small players. I'll probably get into that too. It's getting pretty excited. All right, it's going to be pretty fun. Alan says, I know I'm sicko, but I was hoping for a deeper pullback so I can buy more. Hey, look, depending on where the market goes, I mean, there's always pullbacks on the way, right? And we saw that in the HEX chart. So there's opportunities, but we're definitely at a pretty different point in time now for the Pulsechain chart, I think. But it doesn't mean that there's not going to be a pullback on the way. But as long as it's always higher lows, right? Higher lows is the key. And that's what I think we're heading to now. I think we're heading in that space. All right, so let's get into the key players here. I'm going to just go to SwitchX, jump forward to the top 4, and let's see where most of the volume is coming through. Well, we got Pulse on SwitchX, Wrapped ETH, as I said, HEX, and then Switch. They're really contributing the main stuff there. So Richard Cause and Switch and Wrapped ETH there. As I said, we've got like 8 top peers. Liberty Swap at the moment is doing most volume through Peacock, Wrapped ETH again, Pulse, PDI, and Peacock Ninjas, the OG WebChef volume there. And that's actually gone up quite a bit, 57. Let's see if they can get back up to 200, 250. I know that Liberty Swap loves it when Peacock Ninjas is on the tier there, but it goes from that down to 20K, back up to 220K. But over time, I ain't expecting it to, tail off over time. But we'll see. Maybe they might surprise us with the Alpha Investor DEX and everything else. We shall see. But let's go to the 9mm, our second biggest DEX. And these guys have just continued to deliver, right? Pretty awesome. I think they pay out every month if you're holding 9mm. The Merkle proofs there as well. They've really upgraded their technology for payouts. Let's get into the top volumes on here. Richard Cause all the way, and then some Wrap Bitcoin as well. But mostly Richard Cause driving 90mm value. Pretty awesome there. And Pulsechain, most of the volume here driven by Richard Cause all the way down. Peacock Ninjas. What else? A bit of a Troper in the mix there today. And sometimes, as we know, James Maria and OG WebChef can come into the top, depending. Typically, they do it off cycle with the Pulsechain majors, and but mostly Cause are winning the day at the moment. So let's go to the all DEXs and get into the results here. And now we've got liquid loans continuing to move higher. They've been in the top here for a while. And as you guys know, I've said this for some time, that when Pulsechain does move, all our blue chips, and there's probably about 15 or so blue chips on Pulsechain, and that's relative to the size of Pulsechain, of course, but they're quality, utilities, pretty proven DeFi, and we suspect that most of them, if not all of them, will move dramatically to the upside. They will get underpriced in the bear market and then potentially, explode to the upside. So liquid loans, even though it's got very little liquidity, it is climbing with the price rise. It is at 72K liquidity on the main pair, and liquid loans continues to move up. Our number one liquidity fork, and we've now got 5 liquidity forks. And this is sitting at, 6 zeros, 68, continuing its climb of very thin liquidity. So that's the advantage, thin liquidity, and it's up 5x in 25 days. Now, as you guys know, I don't know. CC's been doing these conferences in Southeast Asia, a bit in Europe, I think. They were the third biggest sacrifice, $52 million. We only got 72K liquidity here. Half of that, of course, is a Pulsechain. Who knows? I keep coming back to it because this boggles my mind every time I talk about it. So that's why I try to avoid talking about it too much. But it is on the up and up. You can't deny that right now. 500% in 25 days. Well done there. And that's what we've been talking about for some time, that once we got Pulsechain to move, some of these blue chips would move. Now we've got RX Pepe and Mincoin over 3 months ago. That's up 33% right now. We'll have a quick look at Richard R. Pepe. Obviously, Pepe and Shib have been getting a bit of love recently from about, 3 weeks ago when we saw it move on the CoinGecko. It had been pretty much sleeping and then went on the move. This is the weekly chart, so 3 good weeks in a row so far. Let's have a quick look at this. Now, I'm not endorsing any of these tokens, right? So just make sure that I just go through the top 100 trending. You guys know what I do every day. As the largest Pulsechain influencer doing daily shows, we do the top 100, try to do the comprehensive of Pulsechain as best as we can. We also cover a lot of small, medium projects as well. Just take note, you always do your own due diligence. 310% in the last 21 days, looking pretty good. So 4.1x there on RX Pepe. It's got 15K liquidity, so 51K liquidity, 7K volume. So just remember, most protocols are retail plays on Pulsechain. That will change over time. Obviously, if Pulsechain does a big ramp up, many projects that are medium might become significant. Many small might become a good medium, size, volume, etc. Liquidity. So times can change with the underlying value of the Pulsechain, as long as the project's got some fundamentals supporting it, can do well. All right, so number 3 is GoPulse, resurrected by Liberty Swap. A lot of controversy. I say controversy because who was GoPulse, who was Liberty Swap, all that stuff. Right, just seems too coincidental all the time, if you ask me. But anyway, it is the way it goes. X1 says RH Pepe is scary. Almighty rugged all these his other coins, but the chart is good. Can't lie. Yeah. Hey, look, that's what I said to you. Everyone needs to do their due diligence. Just because a coin is up, in a couple of days, just because it's got big X's, doesn't necessarily it means it's particularly safe. There are big holders sometimes of these smaller projects. There's lots of fundamentals you must take into account. So, but we're just looking at the chart at the moment, and that's what it's doing. We obviously try to avoid talking about any particular honeypots. We've mentioned one just the other day that was a clear scam. So just to make sure you do your own due diligence though as well. Was it 28 million way better Pulsechain play, safer, better entry, actually burnt liquidity and supply, says X1 blockchain M. All right, so let's move on, guys. We're on to GoPulse at the moment. 25%. It's got a Liberty Swap has taken over GoPulse, and here we are. So let's go to the charts here. So we're at Go per Pulse. And what have I got on that on there? Oh, we're sitting at 5.5 cents on GoPulse. It has been saved by Liberty Swap, let's say. Apparently, all the fees earning from GoPulse are going to be used to buy Liberty Go token. So the community must be very happy about that. Those are holding it. And let's quickly go to GoPulse, shall we? GoPulse, and this is what it looks like at the moment. I'm not sure if the DeFi is operational yet because they said they had to do some, I think, background work on it. They've got the front end up. I'm not sure if it actually is working at the moment, but that's what it looks like at the moment. So GoPulse there. It used to have all the data and all these DeFi offerings on it, but that's kind of where it is right now. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so that is GoPulse, looking pretty good. Let's actually do the move here on the candles here. Once again, 134% in 105 days. But last couple of weeks there, really been moving. There's weekly candles. So we'll see how we go. So not bad. 52K liquidity, 2,200 days in volume. Like I say, it's another retail play. But, Liberty Swap going to probably help prop it up with the old DeFi. I don't know how much traffic's still getting. It was one of our top traffic sites. Arguably the biggest one for a while, but then a bit of controversy around swapping and the fees, and some whales getting slammed with the profit gouging there. So there's a bit of controversy there. ALGO at the moment, number 4, HEX derivative, and what a champion ALGO is, right? Up 21%, pretty amazing. So let's have a quick look at ALGO here, and look at this thing go. HEX derivative, and look at this. Let's go for it. 14th of July. All the way up to now. It's almost got a double top tap there. 624%, so 7.25x in 25 days. Get out. Get out. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? We always like talking about some things that do a 10x. Well, it looks like it might get there very soon. And at the moment, it's done an 8x in 17 days. And then, of course, took some profit down to 200 or 3x in 20 days and then back up again. So ALGO looking good as HEX recovers as well. So ALGO looking very good as HEX derivative, pretty decent liquidity as well, obviously on the back of HEX looking pretty good. Now, I'm not looking at the HEX ratio. You can do that yourself, but that is sitting at number 4 today in the top 100. Now, I'm going to get some of these comments since we've got some good stuff coming in here. Richard Hartz says, interestingly, doesn't GoPulse still own tons of supply? GoPulse still own tons of supply, or did they hand everything over? Well, the website for sure, the supply, I doubt it. I'm not sure the specifics, but I doubt that they would do that. Alan's announced there. I was here since Pulsechain day 1. I definitely remember GoPulse and who used to own them. Yeah, questionable there. Look, they offered a lot of good services, but there was a lot of controversy and profit gouging going on based on what people have reported. So, I'll go with that since so many people are commenting on it. Richard says, Liberty Swap told me, what was it? CST would peg. Do you think that's a possibility in the years to come? Well, they don't have any mechanism anymore, right? So I'd question that. And if Liberty Swap is presumably just focusing on the Liberty on Peacock primarily, and obviously GoPulse as kind of a non-profit, maybe. We'll see. So that's kind of where I feel about that. I haven't looked at Coast for a while since the Coast team kind of moved away from that because of the US regulatory space, despite their banking setup. It was a bit controversial, really, but I mean, they're still providing their service, and I guess it was out of their control, and they made a commercial decision to avoid getting taken to the courts or something. I don't know. Alan's in house says, "Congrats to ALGO owners." Yeah, absolutely. Congrats, Alan. Well said. All right, so let's jump forward here. We've got HEX at number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, PS 11, 12, 13. Taking out those positions from number 5 to 13. It is up another 20% today, and it's as we saw, it's moving back to the top there. Let's look at the biggest pair, which is Pulsechain V2, and look at this chart. Woo! Funnily enough, it did a nice 61.8 bounce on the Fibonacci, if you're familiar with that. That's typically where you would expect it to bounce, generally speaking. If the chart's particularly weak, there's some problem with it, maybe holders, supply dumper, it can typically get to 78.6. And on occasion, if it's a complete setup, then it comes all the way back down, right? But generally, 61.8 is pretty reliable, and that's exactly where HEX bounced from on the US dollar price. It is back up to where it was, back up just below 0.3 of a penny. As you guys know, my mark for it on the weekly is as follows. It is sitting at 32 hundredths of a penny, and I'm just rounding it off at a third of a penny, right? And so far, it's looking pretty damn good, isn't it? On the weekly, still got room to move at 62.9, so it could blow past my third of a penny. But what I would like to see then is if it can just hold up, and maybe everyone just says, "Screw it, I'm not taking profits. I'm just going to sit there." But of course, we always know there's some people take profits. But at the moment, is really powering up to the upside there. Obviously, on the monthly, there's plenty of room to move. On the daily, at the moment, it is just at 72, so still looking pretty good, guys, for a move higher here to that third of a penny, in my view. Obviously, not financial advice. We're just going off the charts here, and we've got bullish move here, 21 over on the 4 hour, over the 54 hour moving average, and we've just entered the overbought part at 78. But I think they're still looking good to hit that target of a third of a penny on a second go. So pretty cool. Now we can go to monthly, can't we? So we've got to look at that. Now, obviously, HEX has been doing pretty well also, and here we got the monthly moving average at the moment at 49 hundredths of a penny, so just under half a cent. So those are kind of your natural levels there. I would say to a third of a penny, then to on the monthly, one might say 45 hundredths of a penny to half a cent. I think that's kind of the next zone there. So third of a penny, half a penny. What's in a penny? Twice half a penny, or 3 times a third of a penny. We get to a penny. So that's kind of cool. And of course, as you guys know, the recent tops we've had is 3 cents. So in the short term, that's a goal, right? The short, medium term, 3 cents. But you guys know when HEX starts to move, it's game on. It's game on. HEX don't lie. HEX got lots of friends. What are the fundamentals, right? Big community, big sleeper community. One of the top 5 coins from last bull market. Even though this is the Pulsechain version, it's got the benefit of the Pulsechain itself. There's big market makers out there potentially that will move the chart as well. So it's got a lot of fundamentals there and a lot of influences as well that come out of the woodwork. Lots of fundamentals there, and of course, actually benefiting from, I think, the value growth of Pulsechain too. Got a lot of protocols, particularly supporting it, like all the HEX derivatives, as well as goes Edron, ALGO, etc., and also Liberty Swap and others are supporting. All of the bridges supporting value transfer too. Now we're going to quickly look at that's a PHEX. So we'll come back and look at EX in a minute. Number 14 is UFO pair there with HEX up 17%. Most wanted, one of our top meme coin communities, 16% there, looking pretty good too. Let's have a little sneak in on the old most token there. Pretty diamond hand community. I think a lot of these meme coins are pretty much held by a lot of tight communities there, and they don't sell too much, right? They're waiting for the big moves. We're at 2,300 for a penny on most there at the moment, up at 0.5% right now. So pretty cool milestone on this one. I don't have the RSI on this, but you can see it's kind of picking up a bit of pace there. Looks like we've got the pulse ratio, pretty important. I don't look at them all the time, but here we are at 534. In every case, I would look at the pulse ratio as well as the US price and to see the underlying strength of the token. Sometimes tokens get rotated a little bit. I think Peacock's had a little bit of that recently, obviously with the rigid cores on the move. but eventually it catches up if they've got good DeFi rolling out. Feels good, man, says Ellen. Does indeed. It's good times. All right, let's jump out, and that is most wanted at number 15. Let's scroll down a bit further here. We're going to speed up a little bit there. SolidX up 15% there at the moment. And then let's have a look here at numbers 18, 19, and number 21. Pulsechain coming in the mix there at number 22. Now, I did say I was going to look at Pulsechain, so let's bring up one of the peers here. Let's see which is the one that's got decent liquidity there. We'll go for the 2.1 million. Does that sound good? I think that sounds better. And here it is on Pulsechain at the moment at 5 zeros, 8,529, looking like a champ on the 4-hour chart here. Let's look at the daily. The daily there still not oversold. Oh, it's oversold territory, but not it still can go up a bit more. Certainly going to have a bit of a challenge getting a bit higher, but certainly could hit over 900, 9,000, I should say. Can it lose a zero? Well, the 4-hourly there is getting hot at 78. So it just needs to cool a little bit, but certainly the tailwind's got a lot of tailwinds right now. On the weekly, so look at the charts here. We're above the weekly moving average on 21, very bullish. And we've got plenty of room to move 55. Look at that, lots of room to move on Pulsechain here. And Pulsechain's got the buy and burning away with these higher volumes. Burn, baby, burn. Kind of cool. All right, so let's move on. Let's go here. Benefits from all that volume. Look at all the volume going through. What did we say? 5.2 mil. Been getting a way better volume, hasn't it? So that is on the Pulsechain. Let's go look down a bit further. Pulsechain is one of my favorites, of course, on Pulsechain, out of the cores. Now let's see what else we got going here. Where would you get to? I've gone too far. I talked about Most Token. Well, another top meme coin, pretty similar to to Most Token, is Delta Token. Meme coin up 13% at the moment on the back of HEX as well, and INC. Mafia coin from Rack and Michelle, one of our, I guess, two main launcher sites. $2.66 right now, up 13%. What else is going on here? Let's scroll down a bit further there. Vouch, a number one public validator, is up 12% right now from Jexa. Super smart guy. Really, if you think of Lido and Rocket Pool, it's kind of like that. It allows you, instead of buying the hardware, you can just go put your Pulse in the voucher there. They can take a few other assets as well, I think, as well. But vouch there got multiple yield generation there. Very undervalued, underappreciated right now, in my view. But once again, the market decides. I'm not going to decide. 4016, 1700 right now on the daily, and look at the weekly chart there. 4 good weeks in a row. But the pulse chart, let's look at the pulse ratio. It is also up, so it's moved from 1.3 to 1.76. Slow creepers, right? We may see a market maker come in on vouch eventually. We'll keep a lookout for that. And when I say that, relative to the liquidity, so we'll keep out for that as well. But I probably will be talking a bit more about vouch moving forward. All right, one of our blue chips, right? One of our blue chips there, but not being valued at that way at the moment, even though their price is up. Still not fully appreciated there, I would say. We shall watch it. Shiba Inu, who was talking about this? Someone was talking about this the other day. Up 11.7% over 3 years. And let's have a look at the chart here. Obviously, we said Pepe and Shiba getting a lot of love. Well, these charts looking insane. Look at the market makers coming in here with the old value there. Look at that. They pumped it all the way from 7 zeros, 1,400. It is up. It's almost up 1,000% here. In fact, it was earlier in the day at 1,300. Was it 1,300? Yeah, about 1,300%. So it's a 14x in 4 days. Get out. I don't know. Let's have a quick look at the quick intel. It doesn't give you too much here. Not honeypot, it says, but once again, do your due diligence. But that's ticking away there. Let's go to the monthly chart here on this Shiba Inu one, and you can see it's been pumped big time this month. So in good times. That's a biggest X so far after ahead of ALGO, Shiba Inu there. And I did see someone commentating on that yesterday, I think it was. Pump tires there, 11.6% at the moment. So obviously we talked about Rack and Michelle's Mafia coin, but we also got Pump Fun here. Now we've had 2 small projects launched in the space. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But they got some pretty exciting setups as well. And then we've got Liberty Swap coming out as well. So we're going to go from 2 to 5 as far as I'm aware. So we've already gone 2 to 4. We're going to go to 5 is probably a better way of saying it. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff happening in the space. And why, guys? Why? Well, Pump Fund, man, it's a cash cow. It's making so much more, and it's so devalued compared to some of the big players out there, like the big Dexes and perpetual spots. So pump tires, and of course pump fund. We've seen that perform very well in the last week, but it's still dramatically underpriced. So keep a lookout for that one. There's a little tip of the day. A tip of the day from the Irishman. Tip of the day there. We'll put that one on. What the hell? What the hell's going on today? It's a crazy day today. All right, so we're at 70 hundredths of a penny right now on the old pump. And let's have a look at the weekly chart there. Weekly there, we've got heaps of room to move in this pump ties. Keep a lookout, guys, because I think if pump fund runs, it's going to run, even if it's not doing the volumes, the revenue might just get that meme coin reflection, let's say. But coming off the bottom there and not really moving too much at the moment. Has done about 1 million pulse buy and burn, isn't it? Around about that. And so we'll keep a lookout on this one. It's going to face competition from these smaller sites potentially, and of course from Liberty Swap, no doubt. When they launched their Liberty Pump or whatever it's called. So it's kind of cool. Now, pulse ratio, let's look at that on the weekly. Yeah, we've come off the bottom there. I mean, we've got as low back here, 142, 180 now. But keep a lookout for this one. Obviously, this could be a big mover. What else are we going to say? Let's go to the daily quickly. We're on the weekly there, daily there. Yeah, it's got room to move. So we'll be watching that. 4 hour, a bit overheated, but other than that, keep a lookout for this one. Got on the long time frames, certainly looking good. CashX been around for over 3 months, up 11%. Presumably it's a pump tires. Some of these are not always pump tires, but that's up 11% right now. Proteus, our top DEX aggregator, up 11% as well. We're also looking forward to their P-Day project, arguably going to be our first big AI trading platform on Pulsechain, one would say. We're starting to see AI agents technology integrations with trading on Pulsechain launching in the last week, which has been a great development. But the last 2 or 3 months have been particularly critical for project rollouts and solutions being on Pulsechain, bringing us up to the frontier of where crypto is. And in some cases, we were ahead in some areas. We're up 11% on Proteus. Let's scroll down here a bit further here. We're going to go down. So we're a pretty good day in the office, isn't it? For Investor at the moment, which launched obviously that exchange, we've got it up here, now showing on Dex Screener. It's sitting at $2.38, $2.36, up 8%, so that's doing pretty well. We're going to scroll down a bit further here. We've got ProveX. ProveX was leading yesterday, still doing pretty well, up 6.7%. It is the new kid on the block, probably in the early phase of adoption and still in beta. And so we'll be keeping a lookout for that in the next month, but could see a big move there. Currently at 5,300, up 6% there, and I think I talked about it a bit yesterday. PDC to grey is pretty similar spot to ProveX, but pretty about 6.3% as well. Remember, most of these are actually lower than Pulse. What was Pulse? Around about 8% up today. So we got about a third of the coins. No, we got half of the coins doing better than Pulse today. Let's scroll back down here a little bit further. So now we're getting into the Peacock ecosystems. We've got Zero Trust, Top Hat, all tied into the Peacock. They're all down here. Peacock itself sitting at 1.1 cent, pretty much stuck there, isn't it, at the moment? Been a little bit lower overnight, but stuck there at the moment. But of course, we're waiting for all the big heavyweight DeFis. A lot of rich features coming for the ZKX wallet. We're waiting for the big product launches, right? So those are kind of being deferred a little bit into maybe August. We're watching out for those. So we're things like Liberty Pump, Liberty Lean. That might be a bit later, Liberty Lean, but perpetuals and spots and commodities, all these things coming, waiting for Liberty Swap to bring that out. And Zendog as well, part of that trifecta. So they're all just green today. That's pretty much it. So that's kind of our biggest juggernaut ecosystem, but kind of building pressure, waiting for these big releases, and of course we've got a bit of rotation going into the Pulsechain cores. That's kind of how I see it. Also, volume to liquidity. The Peacock ecosystem's got pretty big liquidity because all the P is tied into it, and so you're going to need that bigger volume as well. Obviously, they have the buy and burn coming from all the DeFi, and if they scale that DeFi from 4 DeFi up to 10, 11 DeFi, then you're going to have potentially massive the buy and burn just accelerating. At the moment, buy and burn's doing about 100,000 a day, I think. So as soon as it goes past that, you could get up to a couple 100,000, and if they get to 1 million a day, game on, right? That's insane. They can get their DeFi up to that. That would be pretty insane. Remember, it starts off at 1 billion. They've already burnt, 150, 160. Close to 160 maybe, 160 million, and therefore, it's game on from there if you're burning a million a day. Now, I'm not saying they're going to get there straight away, but they could definitely get there at some stage. But even a couple 100,000 is pretty game changer stuff. All right, so we're watching that, and in the red today, we've got a bit of a troper, Bit of P Mint down 1%. Not much down too much. Reserve Day, James Maria down 1%. Unity from Cryptographics down 3%, and P Tiger, which was on the leaderboard the last couple of days, is down 10%. They're taking a bit of a breather at the moment. So that's pretty much it on the top 100. We spent a bit of time on that, and hey, look, volume's gone up to 7 mil. We just crossed that over, and we crossed over 500,000 as well. Let's quickly go to coin pulse list. You guys know we're going to do it. Coin pulse list, is it? What the hell? Pulsechain coin? Pulsechain coin list. Oh, Mike, I've forgotten. Pulse coin list. Pulse coin list? Yeah, there we go. We got there in the end. So many mixtures here. Let's jump into the volumes and have a look at our leaders here. We got Pulse, HEX, Wrapped ETH, PulseX, HEX, PDI, Ink Token, ProveX, Wrapped Bitcoin. These are all over 100K based on Pulse coin list data. I think it's a little bit out of touch with some of the pools potentially. And then we have James Maria's Satropa and Peacock and James Maria's Teddy Bear below that. So those are kind of the bigger ones there on this one. But you can see at the moment over 100K volume is showing Bitcoin at number 9 there. So there we go. And that's come up a bit there. What is the price of PDI? PDI at the moment is currently sitting at 2/10 of a penny, pretty much stuck there. PDI to $1. Well, anything can go to $1 in the crypto, can it not? Well, not anything, but things with decent fundamentals. But will it be pegged at $1? It needs a mechanism, right? We've seen theory after theory after theory. Hey, look, I'm always open-minded. I'd love it to get to $1. I'd love people to be, to celebrate that. That'd be great. But the reality is, it's all been, wishful thinking at this stage, and every single theory gets smashed. Recently the layer 2 theory, and then all this other stuff, all these mechanisms getting set up for this beautiful, wonderful circuit, and it's so far flat. Now that said, always optimistic. That's something will come to the play, but hopefully it's going to be better than some of the things we've seen so far. All right, it's got a big community. It's got one of our biggest communities, and it's got some big influencers support it, and so it does have some fundamentals. So it's got one of the biggest volumes on Pulsechain, so it has got legs. Obviously, the Pulsechain rises, it can really do some stuff, but we'll see what happens there. It's also part of I would say one of the negatives is that a big part of the community is pretty. I don't know. They might just dump on your heads pretty quickly. That's all I'm going to say. So we've got that going as well. Let's see what else. Wrapped Bitcoin at the moment on Pulsechain at $190. Now, we talked about Pulsechain being in price discovery since the 30th of May 2023. Well, we got Wrapped Bitcoin has been worth a couple of $1,000s in the past. Is now at $190, but it's had a nice little week, up 23%. Not bad. Yeah. So let's see what happens there. So some interesting stuff here on Pulse Coin List. Another one of our top information sites here. It's got lots of tools and things like that. Now let's jump away to where was it we're going? We're going to somewhere else. What was I going to do? I was going to do something else, wasn't I? I was going to go to PHEX, wasn't I? To look at the balance fork, because that PHEX volume is not included as far as I know. I don't think it's included at all in the deck screener. And let's have a look at what it's done. So I don't know, we're really going to get some details here. Wait till the volumes come in. They don't actually have a data site there. No, just have the volumes at the top here. But apparently it's still got 1.5 million TVL. Obviously it's been going up with HEX and everything else. Let's just do a quick analysis. We've got some of the top peers. So, the volume's lifted up a bit, hasn't it? So 95K on the bridge pools. So he's on the stable coins, trifecta there. They've got 32K on Alex Hedron Maxi. So the HEX derivatives there. Another 15K on RX Maxi, a little bit there. So, we just add up these top 3 pairs. They've still got a bit of volume with the others, but you're looking at, maybe 100, let's say 150K just straight off the bat there. So, you can add that on to the 7.7 million here. I guess, just thinking about that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these guys are, these will get routed through, no doubt, maybe through some of the DEX aggregators, but the swap maybe not. So maybe not there. So certainly supportive in any case. Maybe it's a little bit like time. You have to think a bit more about that. More to like time, adding volume to the DEX aggregators probably is the case with the pools. But certainly they're in separate pools. So they're not showing up on here. I don't see them on here at all. So arguably that 150K is in addition to the 7 million. So we're always a bit higher. Now it was only doing 10 or 20K, remember, only a couple of weeks back. Now it's all the way up at 150K. So that's dramatic. It's like a 4 or 5x. So that's definitely adding to this value here based on what I can see unless someone defeats me on that, which is fine. I'll be open-minded to that. But at the moment, I see that not being included in DEX Screener. It's not one of the DEXs, so it seems reasonable that that DeFi protocol is satellited from the DEX Screener volumes. So we're actually even higher, guys. Kind of cool. All right, so presumably the DEX aggregators, they're benefiting because they'll be routing through PHEX as well as the other pools, no doubt, on some of the DEX aggregators at least. All right, there's a lot of volume in there, 1.5 million TVL, and a lot of quality products, especially HEX derivatives and stablecoins. All right, so let's jump over to the rest of it, shall we? Now I've looked at Pulse, looked at HEX, looked at Pulsechain even, and let's look at some of the news. I think I was going to do some of that. I was also going to look at ETH, wasn't I? Let's do that first. ETH is incoming. Let's do ETH just to wrap off the tokens. And yeah, I was going to look at the new launches as well. Man, we're doing it all today, guys. Doing it all except for one thing. We do that in Strategy Club. But let's go to the ETH on Pulse and have a look at the ETH doing very well as well. Look at us up at now 1700th of a penny. ETH looking fantastic. Definitely on the overbought, at 80 on the daily. And let's look at the 4 hour there. 4 hour there also pretty high, up at 85. Last time we saw it get to 97 and retrace, so it still could potentially move, but ETH looking pretty powerful on the weekly. We've got definitely hot now on the weekly, which is kind of interesting. One of our first charts to see the weekly hot. We've still got a lot of room on a lot of the other charts on the weekly because we've been down for so many months, 11 months, remember? We had a green month last month, we've got a green month this month. And now we're at 1700 here, looking pretty hot there. So, it's going to probably get pretty close to having a cool-off period. Question is, will it do a big sell-off or a small sell-off? Kind of feeling towards a small sell-off, subject to the general market, of course. But let's have a look at this sort of mark here. If it did retrace back to 61, that'd be back to 3089. It's currently 2017. So looking pretty healthy is the old ETH. So 61.8 would be to 89. That's probably where, if it's going to do retrace, would go back to. And a nice bounce off that would be pretty good because that would also be around where we had this little bit of resistance back here in December last year, January. So question mark there. And of course, the top of this move heading into some, trading area that we were used to be in. So I think that's probably about right, not too far away. Let's see if it can try and hit 0.2 of a penny before it does that. And if it can come back, even if it does the 50 test, the stronger it tests back. So if it does a 38, that would be 1200. And if it does a normal kind of pullback, that would be back to 8900. So we'll be watching out for that with a bit of profit taking. No doubt, once you get into this sort of zone, there will be some profit taking coming on very soon. That has turned out to be generally right when we've commentated on that before. When I'm saying generally right, like 90% of the time, we're up 323%. It's got to be coming like a bit of profit taking. We want to see higher lows though, right? So we want to see those higher lows higher. Typically a third down would be very strong move, indicating a nice move to the upside and just calling off the RSI for another round. But certainly on HEX looking pretty hot there. All right, so kind of cool. Let's have a look at the HEX PHEX ratio. Let's have a look at that. So we'll go this one here. And we can see if we go to HEX. So HEX, we're at 0.57, so over half now. If we inverse this to give us another perspective, one PHEX now buys you 1.74 EHEX, which is much lower than it used to be. Back in August 25, it was 6.5 EHEX for one PHEX. So EHEX has got real strong, right? Real strong there. Not bad. All right, so that's cool. That's the old EHEX story. Certainly hot. Let's see if we can get to 0.2 of a penny before it cools down, because our RSI is definitely hot there, and this is generally pretty reliable, right? All right, let's jump away to the news, shall we? How are we doing for time? An hour and 49 minutes. Can you believe it? You guys are insane. You guys love crypto more than me. All right, now we're excited. This is pretty cool. Let's go have a look at some of the projects that are recent. Actually, let's go do the new projects, which I was going to do. Let's stay on schedule here. I was doing absolute X-Fest yesterday on a lot of topics, but let's jump into the ones around new releases, I think. So where did I start here? Let's go this one here. So new projects. So, big shout out to Frank White. He runs the most up-to-date and comprehensive project list on Pulsechain. generally has most of the immutable contracts that are active and active teams. But he's dropped a whole ton of new projects on that, which will be obviously we follow most of them ourselves. But he's got a few good ones here. So live now, he's got Finvesta. So this just is launched recently. Of course, we see that on Deck Screener, V3 Dex from Finvesta. So big shout out to them. They're really expanding just from the printers into more DeFi, which is perfect timing, I think. Starfire is a Dex aggregator as well. Starfire as well. Now, once again, this is a small team. We're getting a lot of Dexes and Dex aggregators launching and other products, launch pads and things. So you got to do your own due diligence. Obviously, not financial advice, but he's put them on his list, so he's obviously done his first checks on them. Starfire there, Dex aggregator hitting the mark there. Trench Dex, this is from Cabal King, Dex and Launchpad. So pretty cool. You can go check out him. He's obviously does a lot of our leading DeFi these days in the last year, I should say, along with a couple other key players. And Trench Dex there is launched with the launch site and looks damn good too. We may end up talking about that more in the future. Pulse Strategy with the Block Explorer is out as well, so you can go check that out. So I looked at it yesterday. Pulse Pepe's NFTs. So we've got we've had a couple of NFT collections launching recently, haven't we? We had Chorus's one for zero knowledge proof, and they had also their own blockchain attached to that and yield, which is kind of cool. I love those little innovations. And now we've got Pulse Pepe's. I think we've had another one too that recently sold out. So it's kind of cool. Now I'm not endorsing these in particular. They do have some sort of yield tokenomics to them as well. But that is, I think they've done about 25% sellout so far. So Pulse Peps is out there. It is what it is. So we're going to get more NFT collections launching in the future, and we haven't had that many. So it's kind of cool to see another round of NFTs slowly starting to emerge. And obviously the success so far was Chorus's. He sold out, a couple of thousand. It was pretty impressive. Zero knowledge printer there. DFly Reflection, obviously talking about that too. And that is Cabal King Chorus, I think that is as well. So that's a ProveX. You earn ProveX doing that. And that was from Kairos, the first real adopting DeFi. Obviously, now we have Vault 369 using ProveX as well. So ProveX very much in that early phase of adoption, even though it's beta. So you're earning ProveX there as a good hedge, right? Good hedge as well when you got a printer token. Sorry, a reflection token earning a ProveX or any of the Richard cores. Umbra there, Dex aggregator there from Umbra, and that's been pretty popular, I think. It's a smaller player, but it seems to have been doing pretty well there. We should have a quick look at that, shall we? I don't want to zoom in too much on that, but we'll have a quick look at see if they've got any updates about volumes on that. But you can see Umbra Finance. I'm not going in on all these, of course, but just doing a quick review there. It's a pretty nice looking site. They do Robinhood and Pulsechain, so you can do Dex on that. But let's see if they've got any stats here. 3 hours ago. How about that? I was just randomly checking. We got Blair in the house. Hey, woohoo! Hey, good to see you, Blair. Welcome to the chat. All right, so Umbra daily report: $67,000 across 354 swaps. Pulsechain $10,000 across 13 swaps. Robinhood chain 57. So they're getting most of their volume, funnily enough, on Robinhood at the moment. But pretty cool. Great stuff. Covered on a live show. Live show, I guess so. All right, so that's cool. They're slowly getting up there, and largest trade 214. 240 mil. I'm not sure what that is, but that is. I'm not sure if they got M on there. Not sure if that's the case, given the 67,000. But pretty cool. We've got smaller players offering some good products on the looks of it. Now, obviously, not financial advice, due diligence. Got to make sure it's safe and everything, but has had some good press out there. Even Giga, the minter, big trader on Pulsechain guy. He says you can now use native bridge to Umbra as well. So I'm not sure whether he's involved. Maybe he's the founder of that, but certainly that's doing pretty well. I think maybe he is. All right, let's jump back. What happened to my list? I lost it. All right, so let's go back down, and we'll finish off the recent projects launching on Pulsechain. And it's great to see, right? So we've got prices going up. We've got lots of cool innovations happening. So we've got DeFi Reflection there. We've got Umbra Dex Aggregator. We've got Chevron Network doing a wallet. So that's kind of cool. We're obviously going to have an inundation of wallets because we don't have enough of them. We've got Internet Money, fantastic. We've got now ZKX from Liberty Swap. We've got a couple coming down from other blue chip providers. Ramp now, one of our big bridges, and Fiat on ramps is doing a wallet. I think it's a modified Rabby wallet. And then we got Alex McFurter, big HEX derivative developer with Hedron Narcosa, and he's doing Cappy wallet, another Rabby wallet modified wallet. So we're getting a whole ton of wallets, which is fantastic. We've got smaller players like Chevron, HEX, been doing a lot of testnet stuff, and they've launched their wallet as well. I think this was back the 24th of July or something like that. So I think they launched after testnet, so that's out there as well. So yeah, don't have any links here, but that is launched as well. I'm not sure where the links are. You might have to go back to the original post somewhere around the 25th of July or something. So they've got Chevron wallet there as well. I haven't really used it or anything that or tested it once again, but I think it's had all the checks and balances. You have to double check that. Launching live soon. We've got VersaVault coming from Triple Dad, Liquidity Fork and Stablecoin, so another one coming. And of course, recently we had Vault 369, right, which we got up here too from Fast Abdul, which I think I accidentally jumped past, but that's been launched as well. So that's our 5th liquidity fork. We've got our 6th liquidity fork coming with stablecoin and yield opportunities with VersaVault. So big shout out to Triple Dad there. Looking forward to that. And then Liberty Swap, of course, got multiple products coming. Some of the king ones here will be Liberty on-ramp, off-ramp with peer solution, which is exciting. And then in-wallet swap. And then Pump Fund Launchpad, and there's lots of others. I mean, these guys have got so many, Liberty Lending, Liberty Perpetuals, so much stuff coming from this team. We're waiting for all that, and the chart is just sort of humming along at the moment. Now, I did want to look at Peer quickly. So Peer, which is this fiat on-ramp, decentralized fiat on-ramp. This is what the technology that Liberty Swap will be incorporating. They just reached a really cool milestone, so I wanted to give them a shout out there. I think this is mostly on BNB, if I remember rightly, but they just crossed 20 million in fill volume. So that's really cool. One of these DeFi protocols that's just rising, starting entrepreneurial, rising, offering a really great DeFi solution. That is 44,561 orders settled directly between buyers and sellers with no custodial middlemen. And that's the thing, right? So that's the key part of real DeFi. They're holding the funds. So kind of cool. I just said congrats. Next up, Liberty Swap. Liberty Swap responded to that, said very impressive. Our turn. Yeah, our turn indeed. We're looking forward to it. That's part of their wider DeFi offerings in their wallet, right? Where they're going to have, probably all sorts of different fiat on-ramps, including full-on DeFi ones like Peer technology. So very, very cool. All right, so we're looking forward to that. That is coming to Pulsechain as well. So we're, getting all the cutting-edge stuff happening on Pulsechain, which is great, right? We want to have the best prices and the best value. We want to be up there on the frontier of DeFi. And we've got a lot of great innovators on Pulsechain, a lot of developers really doing cutting-edge stuff, but we also want to have the stuff from other chains that is also doing really well, and then we get the best of everything. And we're getting there, guys. We're getting there month by month. And I think by the end of this year, we'll have pretty much everything that's hot to trot. Now, some of the things that are coming from some of the teams out there is we're going to be starting getting some really good option products, particularly option products that are based on tokenization. So that's some of the key frontier stuff that's coming down the chain. So we know that some of the big projects are working on that. So we'll probably talk more about that coming down. And that's certainly obviously a more sophisticated part of the market, but that's going to be really fun coming down the track there as well. So, it's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. We'll have the best of TradeFi and we'll have the best of DeFi, right? Which is giving us more innovation than possibly could ever be achieved on Wall Street and places like that, right? All they can do is make products that collapse the markets. That's generally, and they clip the ticker on the way, right? They get all their bonuses. Pretty much it. Don't tell them I said that, but it's pretty much true, right? Pretty much true. All right, so pretty cool stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed it, but we're not finished yet because we've still got 2 minutes. So we're going to quickly look at the at Liberty Swap and see what they got going. So let's see if they got any particular news. They've been obviously doing a lot of reposts lately and comments. But we are looking forward to their big products coming up. So we're trying to keep up to date with that. And they are following, obviously a lot of big stuff happening on other chains and trying to bring us the best technology. These guys are really keeping a frontier survey of everything. Right. I'm not sure if this is part of their stuff coming, but they're definitely doing their own pop-tires. Very excited there. Let me see, scroll back down here a little bit more. Let's see. No, I don't see much else happening on here from product launches, but we are watching pretty closely. So we'll just be patient with these guys. They've got a lot of big products to launch, and they're real juggernauts. They're going to really add a lot to Pulsechain as they already are doing. So very excited there. I've already covered, Batir's working, I think, harder on their products, and hopefully we'll get P-Day soon. The other thing is we've obviously got a lot of liquidity forks launching, a lot of wallets launching, a lot of innovation in that space. We've got the beginning of the AI agent age on Pulsechain too. So big shout out to quite a few people who did that. In fact, I think we've got, if you go to the monster thread with MBS Crypto, he published that, and we've got 3 AI projects in there, and AI agent projects and AI projects, and I think there's a 4th one possibly in there as well. So you can go check that out as well on the, we've got David Feder. He's open sourced MCP server for your AI agent, gets its own encrypted Pulsechain wallet. So if you want to get in that space on Pulsechain, you've been frustrated, well, now it's opening up, right? So on the AI agent stuff, so check out that with David Feder. The other stuff is, what else? We had something else on that space too. Red Squirrel obviously recently launched a DEX aggregator, Squirrel Swap. It's doing pretty well, going through the ranks. And he's got Squirrel's got MCP, allowing any AI agent to safely get best route quotes, multi-hop trades, limit orders, and portfolio data across Pulsechain. So that was really cool. We got Petius looking. I'm assuming this LLM architecture here is around PDAY, their AI order book solution, coming up with DCA and everything else in it. They've been, trying to pull in all the Pulsechain data. It's a pretty challenging thing to do, but they've been pushing that forward. So hopefully they're going to get there eventually. It's one of our 2 big Pulsechain sacrifices left. There's this was a late sacrifice, of course, but we've got that coming up, and also we're still looking out for Signum, Oracle, and PUSD ALGO. Eventually, subject to the ETH price later on. So that's obviously delayed until we see ETH rally, in my view. But hopefully we'll have Signum, Oracle launching in the next month or so. Let's see. It's always a little bit later every time, right? But it is getting there. It's getting there. All right. So what else we got going? Let's scroll down here a little bit more. We did have some more, I think, all the way down in the TKS post here. We had so much news this week because everything's just starting to light up. Everyone's starting to come out of the woodwork, etc. Developers are really on the move. Small, medium, large developers all doing stuff on the chain. We got Tangent at the moment releasing first Greenwick AI DeFi game for Wick. They're doing tons of applications coming out of their AI solution. So that's exciting there too. Just thought we had one more others as well. So there's 3 at least I think we've covered. So we are starting to get the AI thing in the house. So was that 4? Was that 4? Yeah, it was 4 items on AI that were in the monster thread. So that's exciting. It's the first wave of an AI conversation that we've had in Pulsechain. That was just the last week with a lot of products launching. So it's happening. Very exciting. And we can't wait for perpetuals. We're really waiting for perpetuals to come from LuiSwap. And that way people can buy and hold all the traditional stuff like SpaceX, etc. Obviously, wait to there's a few more unlocks before the end of the year, but SpaceX probably after that's going to look pretty juicy, especially with mass manufacturing coming up with a lot of stuff. So fun times. All right, hi guys, Pulsechain pumping finally, says Pulsechain Animal, is indeed. So it's a good way to finish. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. 2 hours and 2 minutes. We crushed it today. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. I think we covered pretty much everything. Obviously, we can get into deep dive into all the projects, but as you can see, there are hundreds of those. And let's go to PulsePLS start just quickly to check that out. If you want to check out many of the projects on Pulsechain, this is the big list. Look at this from Frank White. Look at this thing. If people say there's not any projects on Pulsechain, well, there's tons of variety, and we're getting a lot of really big stuff right now rolling out, and we still expect that in the months ahead. So pretty cool stuff. On the left, there's all those new projects. I just picked a handful of those, so pretty awesome stuff there from Frank White. I'll just post that again here today. We're going to finish there, though. That is the link. Alan says, thanks for the stream. You're most welcome, Alan. Hope you're always great to have you on the chat, by the way. And there is the link to the Pulsechain ecosystem from Frank White. Big shout out to him. And it's game on, right? We've got value launching on Pulsechain. We've got prices moving up. You can't ask for much better than that. And we're still low. Relatively speaking, historically, we're still low off the base. And so it's really just that first wave, really, of value being created on Pulsechain. So we're excited about where we're going to head from here. Look out for God mode candles. They can happen at any time. I don't know. We'll see. But it could be pretty fun moving forward. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Smash the follow on X. That's 2 hour mega stream. I really enjoyed it. Hope you did too. Take care, everybody. And I'll catch you on tomorrow's show. Bye for now.